You are looking live at the D.C. Armory in Washington, D.C. as we present Capital Combat 90, the return of RoboCop. Coming to you live from the D.C. Armory. And hi, everybody. I'm Tony Schiavone, your host. On behalf of World Championship Wrestling and Turner Home Entertainment, welcome to Capital Combat 90, the return of the RoboCop. As you know, 3 title matches here tonight. The Nature Boy, Ric Flair, and Lex Luger for the NWA World title in a cage. Don't forget, we also have NWA World Tag Team title, the Steiners against Doom. And, of course, Jim Cornette's Midnight Express go up against the U.S. Tag Team Champions, Flying Brian and the Z-Man. Jim Ross and Bob Caudle will be doing all the play-by-play, but right now it's Armed Forces Day. Let's go down as the festivities are about to begin. Okay, March Militaire with our colors and our national anthem. Of course, those 3 title matches, only just a slice of what you're going to see here as we anxiously await RoboCop and, of course, Sting. But right now, to handle all the play-by-play and all the action at ringside, let's go to Jim Ross and Bob Caudle for some words.
Thank you very much, Tony Schiavone, and ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a great night, Bob. 3 championships to be decided, and Jim Cornette's going to be in a small cage at ringside. You think that's going to make a difference?
I think that's going to make a difference in that match, Jim, no doubt about that. But as you say, we're in for an exciting evening with those 3 championship matches, and of course the other matches on the card also.
The Steiners and Doom have had an ongoing feud. I think Doom's getting better and better all the time. What do you think about that?
Well, in the last several weeks, they've been coming on strong, and I also think that Theodore Arlong could be very important in that match.
And the big one I think everybody came to see inside the steel cage, will this be the night that Lex Luger attains his dream to be the world's heavyweight champion?
Well, he's chased that championship for 2 years now, Jim, but I tell you, that one is just too close to call.
8 great matches, ladies and gentlemen, plus Sting will be here, RoboCop will be here, and all the Horsemen. It's going to be a dynamic night. The greatest wrestling fans in the world are sitting in this building right here tonight. It's going to be live. It's going to be hot in Washington, D.C. We are ready. We hope you are. And now let's go to the ring in our first big event.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first contest in Capital Combat 90, Return of RoboCop, is the special 6-man tag team event. Team number 1 making their way toward the ring, first from Boston, Massachusetts, weighing 234 pounds, Kevin Sullivan. From Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, 257 pounds, Cactus Jack. And their partner, the Big Kahuna, Sir Oliver Humperdinck, presents from Asbury Park, New Jersey, 408 pounds, the Beast from the East, Bam Bam Bigelow. their opponents. First from Chicago, Illinois. Total combined weight, 585 pounds. The Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors. And their partner from the State Hospital, weighing 384 pounds, Norman.
Norman and throwing out that T-shirt. Six-man tag team action to start it off with here on Capital Combat 90. The return of RoboCop. Norman and the Road Warriors to meet Bigelow, Sullivan, and Cactus Jack. And what a way, Bob, to start it off.
Jim, this is going to be something. You got 6 tremendous men in that ring, all of them very large. Over in one corner, Norman and the Warriors, and then Bam Bam, well over 400 pounds. And I tell you, for a man that size, I've never seen a wrestler can move like Bam Bam.
What an athlete. Referee Randy Anderson calls for the bell.
Be interesting, Jim, to really see if Bam Bam, Bigelow, Cactus Jack, and Sullivan go out and try to match power with a team across the way. I don't think Sullivan will let them do that.
If they do, Bob, they may be in for a long night. The Road Warriors, of course, are great power wrestlers. Cactus Jack working on, that's Road Warrior Animal in there, starting it off. Nice leapfrog there by the Animal, 304 pounds. Another leapfrog, Cactus Jack trying to kick it up, and right there, a big power slam.
You just don't expect those kind of moves from a man as big and as powerful as Animal is.
Animal, 6'2", 295. Cactus Jack backing into the corner. And there's the Irish whip to the far side. Catch him right in the face with that big foot.
Well, we've seen Cactus Jack on a number of occasions, and if ever anybody has got a high pain threshold, it's him.
What a clothesline. Road Warrior Hawk came in there, and a dynamite clothesline. Hawk 6'3", 275. The two men comprising the Legion of Doom from Chicago. And here comes Bam Bam Bigelow, 408, Bob. He's a big man.
Watch him. Just watch him in the ring and watch the way he gets around. The guy has got a tremendous amount of athletic ability. He's got a lot upstairs, too. To look at him, you wouldn't know that. You wouldn't think about it, but he does in the ring.
Bigelow, the man with a tattooed skull. Asbury Park, New Jersey as his home. Collar and elbow tie-up. Test of strength, and Hawk trying to get underneath. But it's reversed on him, and the mass of Bam Bam Bigelow coming to the front here.
You know, Bigelow, Jim, still is a young man as far as professional wrestlers go. He's only been wrestling 4 years professionally.
Nice headbutt there. He's yet to see his best years. Good drop kick by Hawk, but it did not take Bam Bam Bigelow off his feet, and Kevin Sullivan has been tagged in. He'll try his hand. He's the veteran of this trio.
Yeah, Sullivan's been around for a long time. He's really an expert in that ring. He's been in there about, I guess, close to 15 years, Jim.
Nice clothesline as Hawk wisely fought his way out of the corner. And Sullivan back into the corner looking for someone to tag, and Cactus Jack is nominated.
You know, we're talking about athletes, and we talked about Sullivan there just a moment ago. In Massachusetts, he was a tremendous athlete earlier years in high school and all. He was all-state champion, wrestling champion. Great athlete.
Norman, the pajama-clad Norman, getting ahead of steam there and planting Cactus Jack in the corner. There's a big leg drop right across the face. And the slightly deranged Cactus Jack from the interesting part of the country of Truth or Consequences, New Mexico.
Yeah, how about that? And when he looked up then, he saw 384 pounds coming right down on that face.
And Norman now will try his hand with Bam Bam Bigelow.
Now, when you look at a match like this, you try to figure out what the strategy is going to be, who's going to do what, and how are they going about it. Right now, Jim, it's hard to pick out any particular thing. They're just going at each other.
Hard force this day here, Bob. We're in an active armory here at the D.C. Armory next to RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. Had an opportunity to visit with the great servicemen here today. Bigelow tried for the headbutt. There's a clothesline by Animal. Didn't take him off his feet. There's another over and over. They both go. But Bigelow landed on his feet, and Animal could not get the big man from Asbury Park, New Jersey, on his backside.
What a move. As you say, they both went flying out of the ring over the top rope. Bigelow again, he was very fortunate to land on his feet. He cut a complete somersault coming out of the ring.
Bigelow, before he became a professional wrestler, was a bounty hunter. That's a very interesting profession. And Hawk in there. Bigelow tags in Cactus Jack again. Bigelow with those right hands right above the heart of Animal. There's some momentum for Cactus Jack, but he's up and over, my goodness. All the way over the top rope. And Hawk clotheslines him right off the apron.
And a tremendous power of the Road Warriors coming to the forefront now.
Thunderous chop there by Hawk. You'll see more of those later when the Nature Boy is out there. Oh, he's up and over, right into the first row ringside goes Cactus Jack Manson. What velocity, what power from Hawk.
Over the fence, right into the fans goes Cactus Jack. And there, hey, Jim, did you, no call for that. I mean, Hawk and those, they've completely lost it. Now the Road Warriors, he just threw the steps at him, and those steps made of wood hard, and they must weigh a couple of 100 pounds.
And it's the referee being somewhat lenient here. Lucky Hawk didn't get disqualified for that particular maneuver, but now it's Kevin Sullivan and Norman in there. These two have been rivals for quite some time in World Championship Wrestling, and the Boston Battler sent for the Irish Whip. And Norman getting up ahead of steam. Waited too long, Bob.
And Sullivan, as we say, he's a veteran. He knew what was coming. He stuck that foot right up, and now he's right back on the attack again. He's a very dangerous individual when he's on the offensive.
Sullivan and Bigelow with a double team. Bigelow headbutt right to the face of Norman. There was no tag. Flying shoulder block. Down goes Norman. And good old Norman is in trouble.
And you don't find many men can get Norman off his feet like that. Watch out. Can he do this?
Can he get him up? Yes, he can. Suplexes 387. Bigelow for the lateral press. Anderson down 1-2, but that's all this time.
Heading for the count of two. Just couldn't hold him, but right now Norman's in trouble. He's going to be double teamed over near his corner now, Jim.
Sullivan, very vile, very vicious. Chopping away at Norman. Slamming him. Sullivan almost may have hurt his back right there. Tagging in Cactus Jack right after he slammed the big man.
Well, and that's a big man to be throwing around. He very well could have. It appears now that the Warriors are just determined to let it all hang out. They're going for broke in this match.
Cactus Jack with the left foot to the ample midsection of Norman. And now Cactus goes up top. It's Cactus Jack on the top rope coming off with a double axe handle right across the head of Norman. And a neck breaker up and over. I tell you what, Cactus Jack has absolutely no regard for his own personal safety.
He absolutely does not. As we said earlier, his pain threshold higher than anybody we know of. And that was a tremendous move he made to get that neck breaker. He went flying all the way out of the ring with it.
Kevin Sullivan, as Bob Cottle mentioned, a former four-time state high school amateur champion in Massachusetts at 4 different weights, ironically enough. And Hawk in there from behind nails Sullivan, but Sullivan's tough, got right back up. And there's Bigelow, the right hand of Norman, and Norman is the man that is in trouble. Norman needs to tag either of the Road Warriors.
He's a long way from his corner right now. He's suffering the fact that Hawk got into the ring. It's hurting Norman. There's that headbutt. And Bigelow, evidently got a rock for a head, he can really hurt you with that headbutt.
We understand all the tickets for this event have been sold out. Crowd, I understand several thousand still lined up to come inside the building and are doing so.
Tremendous fans here, Jim. They really are. There's that headbutt from a standing headbutt. He uses that very effectively.
He certainly does, and it shows again his great agility and quickness for a man that's over 400 pounds. Cactus Jack in, and we have to tip our hat, perhaps reluctantly, to Bigelow, Sullivan, and Cactus Jack because they're controlling the tempo. Consequently, they're controlling this match.
Well, and so often that's what happens. If you get it going your way, and they certainly are doing that. And I think that might be part of the plan. And the man you're looking at right there now, I'm sure laid out that plan, and that's Kevin Sullivan.
Sullivan indeed is the strategist of this trio. I think we can safely say that. Cactus Jack with a knee drop right across the chest. And the
Norman's been pounded, Jim.
He certainly has. Norman with a clothesline, but Norman's somewhat fatigued here. I don't think cardiovascular conditioning would be his strong suit. And he tags in Animal. Here comes Animal of the Road Warriors. And a nice drop kick by Animal, catching Cactus Jack. And Animal unloading both on Bigelow and on Sullivan. Sends Cactus Jack across. High shoulder block. Now Cactus Jack in trouble, but Bam Bam Bigelow intervening and prohibiting the 3 count. Now all 6 men are paired up here. There's Norman and Bigelow on the outside. It's Sullivan and Cactus Jack double teaming Animal, but there's Hawk, who is the legal man, off the top rope with a clothesline. 1, 2, 3, the Road Warriors and Norman have won it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the match, the team of Norman and the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors.
Well, the Warriors are always physical in the matches. I've never seen them any more physical. In slow motion, watch this leap of Hawk as he comes high into the air, off of the rope for the clothesline, right on Sullivan. Sullivan then with his shoulders to the mat. 1, 2, 3, Jim, it's all over.
Road Warriors and Norman with a 6-man victory here on Capital Combat, the return of RoboCop. As we take a look at this tremendous crowd here on hand, ladies and gentlemen. And we are going to get it going right here. Sullivan's got to leave the ring because here comes Johnny Ace. And here's the introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, making his way toward the ring from the City of Sunshine, weighing 238 pounds, Johnny Ace.
Johnny Ace, a very popular young individual. He's 6'4", Bob, 245. And here is his opponent on the way to the ring.
And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent to be led to the ring by his manager, Theodore R. Long, from Metropolis, weighing 321 pounds, Mean Mark.
Well, you talked about the size of Johnny Ace, 6'4", 245. Look at Mean Mark, 6'9", 320, Jim.
He is a tremendous athlete too, Bob. This big guy attended Texas Wesleyan University, graduated from there with a degree in sports management. 6'9", 321. Johnny Ace is 6'4", 245. That's I would say, an above-average size individual is Johnny Ace, but Mean Mark is a cut above in size.
And not only that, I tell you, this guy possesses a weapon that I think could be an extremely dangerous weapon in any match, and that's that deadly heart punch.
He recently made a tour of Japan and perfected that maneuver while there, and it certainly has worked to his benefit because he has not been defeated since that time. That heart punch is the deciding factor, I would have to agree. And the thing about this guy, Bob, is that he's got a basketball background. Now, he was the 1986 most valuable player in the Lone Star Conference, but this guy got on an intensive weight program, obviously kept his 6'9" height, but he added a lot of muscle and a lot of beef to that frame.
Well, and I tell you, he's the type of individual, he doesn't like people, and he doesn't like anybody. Yeah, when you take a guy whose favorite pet is a snake, you got to say he's a pretty wild, rough individual.
You're right. And his favorite singer is Ozzy Osbourne. That's the guy that bites the head off those bats and things.
Yeah.
Little strange, there's no doubt. Fans all over the country are watching this event. Oh, Capital Combat parties in San Diego, my hometown of Tulsa, Oklahoma. I know there's a big gathering of NWA fans, as always, on Redbud Lane up in Norwalk, Connecticut, I'm told. And Johnny Ace, who got some momentum coming off the ropes, but Mean Mark didn't even budge. And as we said, Bob, Johnny Ace is no junior heavyweight.
245 pounds coming off of those ropes. He's got a full head of steam when he does, and he can't hip toss.
Mean Mark blocked the hip lock, Bob, and he nailed him with that clothesline. Fans, we're going to show you a new feature sometime during Capital Combat called the Slam-O-Meter. And Mean Mark finally drop-kicked out of the ring. That's one way to get the big guy off his feet. And Johnny Ace came right over the top.
Boy, that caught Big Mean Mark by surprise, too. When he turned around, there was Ace coming right in his face.
Obviously caught us all by surprise.
And he's stunned right now. He's wobbling.
Johnny Ace came to wrestle. There's no doubt about it.
Well, there's a guy that you can always figure is going to be important and a part of it, Theodore Arlong. He knows how to slow it down. He's holding Mark back just long enough for the cobwebs to sort of clear in his head a little.
Theodore Arlong started out as a referee. Certainly has progressed in managing. I think he's becoming very, very proficient as a manager. We'll find out just how good a manager he will be, because tonight is the night that they wrestle. Doom and Teddy Long will be at ringside. We'll take on the Steiners later in this broadcast for the Tag Team Championship of the World. You know, Bob, we said there was more to the Lex Luger-Ric Flair match than meets the eye. And fans, I tell you, Lex Luger is really under a lot of duress, and we're going to tell you a little bit more about that. It's hard to put into words what this young man has endured in the last 10 days, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the program. It's quite a story. I'm sure especially the Lex Luger fans, are going to be interested in hearing. We'll talk more about that in the program.
He's such a courageous individual, Jim, and I don't think any of us realized how courageous he was until now.
Johnny Ace got Mean Mark coming in, and a high cross body. Got the big man off his feet. He got two, but that's all. And a nice arm drag takeover. Johnny Ace in very deeply with the arm drag.
Well, when it started off, it looked like Mean Mark wasn't going to be able to be moved. Ace caught him a couple of times by surprise, got him a little wobbly. Now it looks like it's turned in Johnny Ace's favor. It looks like he's just out quicking Mean Mark at this point. And if he can keep him off his feet, keep the big man down, it'll certainly be to his advantage.
Certainly will. Johnny Ace, another one of those 1990s type athletes. He graduated from the University of Minnesota with a degree in business. Very intelligent young man, and he's got a good sound game plan to neutralize the strength of Big Mark. Mean Mark, if possible. Mark nailed him with a right hand there. And if this pace slows, Mean Mark is in a distinct advantage.
Yeah, that's right. Ace wants to keep the pace going fast. That's going to be to his advantage if he can. Yeah, right outside, as we said, there's a man that's going to lend a hand every chance he gets. Theodore Arlong again.
I don't think those kicks are going to cause any permanent damage. However, they certainly are a nuisance. And Mean Mark running Johnny Ace head to the ring apron there. Now to the steps. Referee Mike Atkins exercising his 10 count here. 10 on the outside of the ring.
When you're as big as Mean Mark is, Jim, and as strong and as powerful, you've got great recuperative powers, and you can see just how he can be wobbly, his head can be sort of foggy, and I tell you, he can come back in a hurry.
Mean Mark.
Boy, he's got him high in the air at this point here, and he's just holding him right there, Jim. Look at this, suplex. Wow, did he have the power down on that to drive him and drive him hard to the mat like he did.
Lateral press by Mean Mark. And he got two out of it. And there's a savate kick by Mean Mark. Johnny Ace in a lot of trouble here right now.
The big guy shows you some moves that you just don't expect from an individual that's as big and as powerful as he is in the ring. Theodore Long again.
And now Johnny Ace trying to regroup a little bit on the outside. Wants a piece of Theodore Arlong. That would be a small stack for him, but from behind, now there perhaps Johnny Ace, only a 3-year pro.
Yeah.
And he may have made a fatal error there by turning his back on his opponent.
I just started to say you're looking at two great athletes that are going to be around for a long, long time. Because, as you said, Johnny Ace only a 3-year pro, Mean Mark 2 years.
Both these young men have their best years ahead of them, no doubt about it. And right there, a big clothesline by Mean Mark on top, the lateral press. Johnny Ace kicks out, 2.5. It was close.
He should have hooked that leg. If he'd had that leg hooked, he might have held him in that. It's very, very close to having him pinned.
Look at the official World Championship Wrestling biographies. Mean Mark's hobby as a youngster growing up was being a bully, he wrote in his bio.
I bet he was very good at it, too, Jeff.
Very proficient. I'm sure he worked a long time at it. There's a look at the handsome face of Johnny Ace. And Mean Mark, the big redhead from the state of Texas. Houston, Texas is his hometown. Reverse chin lock, and he's got that bulk also resting very securely on the trapezius muscles of Johnny Ace. So Ace not only has to carry his own weight, but Mean Mark's as well at this juncture.
That's right, and he's going to continue. If he can continue that and keep that weight and that force down on that, he's going to cut that blood flow off to the brain. Here's Ace now trying a good comeback. Good move there.
And Mean Mark, that great flexibility, caught Ace coming off the ropes, foot right to the face.
Well, when you can put your foot up in the air and get a 6'4" guy in the face with it, Jim, you're a big man.
We hope to be going, we're going to be going just a few moments. Our colleague Gordon Soley is standing by near Sting's and RoboCop's locker room. We'll be going back there in just a few moments. And, oh, high elevation. Man, a great leg drop there by Mean Mark, but a very lax lateral press. And that shows great overconfidence.
I tell you, you don't take anything for granted in professional wrestling. Mark, at that point, he could have ended it if he had just gone around and tried to cover him, hook the leg, and hold him to the mat like he should have.
Inside cradle by Johnny Ace. 1, 2, oh, almost. That would be a great upset. 2.5 there. Now Mean Mark right back on the attack. Johnny Ace has really got to shake it loose here and get back on the attack and get this match back on an up-tempo.
Well, that overconfidence almost cost Mean Mark. It nearly cost him the match there.
Johnny Ace up for the drop kick. Mean Mark quickly moves out of the way. He says he's going for the cover again. 1, 2, and Johnny Ace got the shoulder up. We've seen this big guy, all 6'9" of him, climb to the top rope, walk right down it like one of the Flying Wallendas or someone, and deliver a great elbow. And right now, with that gloved right hand, that's the heart punch hand from the right side, blatantly choking Johnny Ace. That's going to rob this young man of the oxygen. And that oxygen is what it takes to run the motor, to keep this kid away, keep this match on an up-tempo with Mean Mark.
Well, you're right. And when you talk about going down the rope, when you add the ropes to the height, and when Mark comes off of the ropes with an elbow, he's about 12 feet in the air. And that's how much force is behind that elbow when it lands.
Johnny Ace tried to deliver an elbow or a shoulder to Mean Mark. He got nothing but the turnbuckle. And now we'll see if Mean Mark can capitalize on this situation. There's a wrist lock. And Mean Mark clubbing right hand right to the shoulder.
He's been coming on, though, Jim, in the last few moments of the match, coming on strong, and he's wrestling now with an air of confidence where you can just look at him, and he has the look that he says, hey, I can do with him what I want to do.
Teddy Long now taking an opportunity to interject himself in this contest. Theodore R. Long lost his hat. He may lose more than that a little bit later tonight.
Yeah, we
his
might
hair's
see.
at stake.
He might be a skinhead after tonight.
Pretty much is already, Bob, but maybe a little trim wouldn't hurt him.
They don't talk about us like that, you know. This guy's a little thin on top.
You can hear that when our camera's taking you right inside the ring. We're going to give you some unique shots, unique perspective of professional wrestling in this tremendous event. Good move by Johnny Ace and a drop kick. Took Mean Mark down to one knee, and now Johnny Ace with a surge of adrenaline, bringing Mean Mark out of the corner. And a nice drop kick, full extension of the legs. And the 6'4", 245-pound youngster really executed quite well on that particular drop kick. Goes for a clothesline from his left side.
And I tell you, that clothesline, just like those drop kicks, was right on the button. Those two drop kicks, he got high in the air. As you said, he had the legs extended. Watch this now, in the corner.
And he's going for a clothesline. Oh, he missed it. Mean Mark has great quickness, as we have mentioned on many occasions. Certainly was true there, and Johnny Ace may have made a fatal error.
He may have taken himself right out of this match.
There's the heart punch. There's the heart punch by Mean Mark. Mean Mark with a heart punch. Johnny Ace, he can be pinned right here, but he's going to go to the top. He may come off with the elbow. Look at this. This man is 6'9", 321. Walking the top rope, and boom, the big elbow right across the chest. That slam-o-meter material there. Mean Mark has won it convincingly.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's your winner, Mean Mark.
Mean Mark defends first with that heart punch that he landed on Johnny Ace to take him out. And let's see now what in slow motion that this move shows on our Slamometer as Mean Mark comes off of the rope. And the Slamometer says, what was that, Jim?
I think we're going to get it right here, Bob. It's still calibrating. Count of 1, 2, 3, and 8.2.
Oh, hey, tremendous move.
Great
There's
power
your winner.
there. Ladies and gentlemen, Gordon Solie is standing by. Let's go back to Gordon Solie now near Sting's locker room.
You can see we're approaching the locker room of Sting now and his newfound ally, RoboCop. May I just point out that, as you can see, security guards are flanking the door. There are no admittance signs on the door itself, so obviously nobody can get in to the locker room at this time. Now, Sting, of course, has had an ongoing feud with the Four Horsemen ever since they jumped him out on the Texas Clash in Corpus Christi on February 6th. At that time, his patella tendon was severed. He's had reconstructive surgery, and he's well on the road to recovery. However, he is not yet capable of competing. Sting's main concern and his main reason for being here tonight with RoboCop is to ensure the protection of the thousands of little stingers who have been so supportive of him during his recuperative period. I might also point out that the Four Horsemen have made implied threats about the little stingers. Now, Sting, myself, as far as I'm concerned, is probably one of the finest athletes and certainly should be the world heavyweight champion at this time. But because of the injury perpetrated on him by the Four Horsemen, he's been denied that opportunity. But his heart's bigger than that. He's concerned about the little stingers. Jim, I'll tell you what, there's nothing happening here right now. However, I'm going to stand by and try and catch them as they come out. Right now, back to you.
Thanks very much, Gordon Solie, and our colleague Tony Schiavone is standing by with our good friends, the Rock and Roll Express.
Okay, Jim Ross, it's not too hard to figure out what's going to go on in a corporal punishment match. All four men will have leather straps, and Robert Gibson will be able to use those leather straps any way at all.
That's right, Tony Schiavone. First of all, I'd like to say, me and brother, we're all fired up. We'd like to say hello to all the nice fans out there that stood behind the Rock and Roll Express through thick and thin. Let me tell you something, Freebirds. Tonight, this strap here is going to be in our corner. There's going to be a strap in the Freebirds corner. And Tony Schiavone, brother and I, we forgot the whooping that they gave us. So Freebirds, tonight is payback time. We're going to whip your behinds like your mama should have done a long, long time ago.
Hey, Ricky, your partner here is prepared.
That's right, Tony, but you know, I'd like to talk about one thing first. You see, we have been down many, many highways, but every road we took led us right back here to NWA. Now, we know that our good friends, the Steiner Brothers, have a World Tag Team title match tonight with Doom. But like we told the people, we're here for one reason, and that is become the NWA World Tag Team Champions for the 5th time, brother, and that's what it's all about. That's what it boils down to. But then again, I want to change the subject a little bit and talk about the Four Horsemen. You see that Ole Anderson has come out here, brother, and regrouped the Four Horsemen, telling the whole world what he's going to do. But you see, I will say one thing about you, Ole Anderson. You're the kind of guy that even sacrificed your own brother to win the World Tag Team titles. Well, you see, things are going to change. This is why I'm talking about this, Tony, because it's stuck in my mind all day. You see, I was talking to Lex Luger earlier. And Lex Luger, if everybody don't know, the fans don't know, that he was just released from the hospital today. He's not supposed to be here. But he guaranteed me and all these nice friends that, brother, he's not going to let them down. It don't matter what the Four Horsemen do, brother. He's going to take care of the business.
All right, let's go to the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, before introducing the next participants, we would like to acknowledge the winners of the Capital Combat 90s Sweepstakes, Mr. and Mrs. Robert Benner. The following contest, it is set for one fall. Introducing team number 1, first from Syracuse, New York, weighing 236 pounds, Captain Mike Rotunda. His tag team partner from Atlanta, Georgia, weighing 239 pounds, Wildfire Tommy Rich. And ladies and gentlemen, their opponents from the island of Samoa, total combined weight, 608 pounds, Fatu the Savage, the SST.
The Samoan SWAT team making their way to the ring. A great contrast in styles, not only between the two teams, but between teammates as far as Rich and Mike Rotunda are concerned. Bob Tommy Rich, 12-year pro from Hendersonville, Tennessee, who came up through the School of Hard Knocks. Mike Rotunda, on the other hand, as we both know, great two-sport star at Syracuse.
Right.
But the Samoans, looking further into this four men that'll be competing here, they got their physical backgrounds from the island of Samoa. So we've got some very diverse styles. We'll see how they mesh. And one would think on the surface that perhaps the Samoans would have the decided advantage because of their experience in wrestling together on more occasions.
Well, and I think they're much more physical than the other team too, Jim. They really want to mix it up, get in and bang it with you, kick, fight, claw, do anything you can. While I think Rotunda and Rich would rather keep a little good wrestling in there. They'd like to come out and wrestle. But I don't think there's any way that the Samoans are going to go at strictly wrestling against Rotunda and Rich.
You know, Bob, we heard Ricky Morton make the comment, Lex Luger, that's a story fans we were telling you as it unfolded, was just released from the hospital today. And much to the chagrin of his physicians, who strongly suggested and really told him he was taking his career in his own hands. Luger had been jumped just a few weeks ago by the Horsemen, which is pretty much their MO in recent weeks. They did it to Sting.
That's right.
We're going to see the fans, so many will see how they have done it to Norman on one of our broadcasts. And they have done it to Lex Luger. Luger hospitalized, just released from the hospital today.
Well, he was injured. He had a high temperature of about 103 for several days, Jim, and he had a very serious infection. And as you say, the doctor said, Lex, it's not wise to do that. And that's what I think when we alluded to it earlier, that Luger is showing a tremendous amount of courage. But, Jim, I think in his heart he felt like, hey, I just cannot let my fans down.
I think you're exactly right, Bob. Luger was... I talked to him about it. He didn't really want to discuss it. He said, I don't want to have any excuses. I'm here to wrestle and win the heavyweight championship of the world. He said, I felt better, but he said, I'll feel great if I win the championship tonight. You know, it's been a great week, aside from the fact that Lex Luger has been in the hospital. I visited him a couple of times in the hospital. The World Championship Wrestling had another announcement this past Thursday at a press conference attended by Ted Turner, with the biggest athlete that I have personally ever seen.
I hate I miss that.
El Gigante, 7'7", 450 pounds, was signed to a wrestling contract.
I can't believe it, Jim. What does a 7'7" man look like?
Tall.
Tall,
big.
right, big. Good heavens. I hate I missed that. I really want to see that guy. I look forward to it. Well, I think we finally got that Samoan ceremony out of the way there. It took some time with the Samoans, but this is a little ritual they do before the match, and I don't think they're going to wrestle to get that behind them.
And we'll get ready for this tag team event. I tell you, it's hard to concentrate when you think about the challenge that Lex Luger's got to face wrestling the greatest athlete that I personally have ever seen in a squared circle, Nature Boy Ric Flair. Luger, that infection is in his knee, and it really caused the high fever in his. So he's got one very, very damaged wheel, and I hope for his sake that.
Can you think of what would happen if Flair could get the figure 4 on that leg, Jim, with that knee like it is?
It's
you know, that's career ending we're talking about.
Certainly is, Bob. Tommy Wildfire Rich, 6'1", 236. Atlanta, Georgia, was Rookie of the Year in 1978. Won the World's Heavyweight Championship in '81 from the legendary Harley Race. One of the most popular athletes in the 1981, as a matter of fact, was voted the most popular wrestler in our sport. And he's sent for the ride by the Savage. Good football tackle by Tommy Rich. And Wildfire goes to the far side. High crossbody. Referee Randy Anderson down and a 1 count. And Tommy Rich up and ready to fight.
Well, the Samoan Savage at the beginning of the match, he just had too much steam left. No way Rich was going to pin him. But when he took him off of his feet, boy, I think that surprised the Samoan right there. Now he knows in his mind that Rich can do it, and it may be a mind game before this match is over.
The Samoans both just over that 300-pound mark. And here comes Captain Mike Rotunda. Great amateur background. We've documented that before. He's also been a former World Tag Team Champion and a World TV Champion. So he's got all the professional documentation it takes, I think he's a great athlete, one of the finest pure wrestlers in our sport.
Boy, he was great when he started in professional wrestling, as you say, with a great collegiate background behind him. But now with the experience behind him that he's got, he's tremendous.
Fatu wants to extend the hand, and good sportsmanship. I wonder how heartfelt that really is.
Well, it looked like Rotunda said, okay, I'll shake your hand, like he was going to do it there for a moment.
Mike Rotunda, while at Syracuse, was the ECAC heavyweight champion. East Coast Athletic Conference. Wrestled for the New York Athletic Club as Fatu extends that taped right hand. Mike Rotunda, he knows what's going on. He's not going to trust him. There's a karate thrust and the second one to the throat. Rotunda sent for the rod. Big clothesline missed there. And Captain Mike took the Samoan down. They've got hard heads.
Ain't that hard, dude?
Oh, man, great drop kick. The second one took the big Samoan right outside.
Again, he was fortunate. He more or less landed on his feet when he came flying out of the ring. Jim Rotunda, big and as strong as he is, and as we say, a great athlete can really wrestle with you in the ring, but he's strong and rough enough to mix it up if that's what you want. And I think right here against the Savages, or the Samoans, that's what he may do.
Samoan Savage having a rather heated discussion with referee Randy Anderson. Randy Anderson said there was no tag made, and indeed he's right. Good officiating there. Randy Anderson's a courageous official. He's he may be 130 pounds soaking wet, and he will be soaking wet before tonight's over.
I think he probably already is, but when you talk about 130 pounds looking into the eyes of 608 pounds, that'll frighten you.
Well, he's got that rule book in his corner, and he always has a way of evening things out.
Particularly when you're going to get in the other man's pocket.
That's right.
The pocketbook.
Mike Rotunda, nice football tackle by Mike. Good drop kick. And Rotunda extends the legs all the way out. Nice move by Mike Rotunda. Drops the elbow on the Samoan Savage, and Rotunda front face locking the big man. Backs to the corner, tags in Tommy Wildfire Rich. And Rich with the right hand right to the ribs. Well, Rich and Rotunda controlling the tempo here. That's so important.
Well, and I tell you, tagging, keeping the fresh man in, keeping the match going at their pace, that's exactly what they need to do.
Tommy Rich, the most experienced man in this contest. He's a 12-year pro. And the big Samoan caught him, and that will slow him down. The power slam, and here comes Big Fatu going down the apron to the far side. Up on top he goes, and he missed with a headbutt. Nobody home on that one.
Good thing there could have been a grease spot on that ring if he'd have landed with that one.
Tommy Rich asking for the foot. He gets it. Tag made. Here comes Captain Mike Rotunda. Captain Mike with a nice chop there. And they're working up all four men, competing very hard.
Rotunda and Rich, I think, are the aggressors right now. They're on the offensive. They're taking the match to the Samoans. If they can stay on top of them like that, again, I think that can work to their advantage in the match. It's going to be a tough match all the way through, no doubt about it. These two are not going to give up easy, Jim. But I tell you, Rich and Rotunda, they got to wrestle smart, and they got to keep aggressive.
You know, Bob, one thing interesting, Ole Anderson, of course, the Horsemen are all here to, I have no idea what the altercation with RoboCop will be. Nice move there by Captain Mike, outthinking Fatu of the Samoans. Nice arm drag takeover. Captain Mike will neutralize the strength here. I was going to say earlier today, very early, maybe noon, 1 o'clock, I saw Ole Anderson out walking around, and he's not the most congenial individual to be around. No one was really with him, but he was looking at the cage, and I don't know, Anderson's just such a devious individual. Sometimes I wonder about his motivation, and he always has a plan of some sort.
Yeah, he's going to check out everything. He's not going to be surprised by anything, that's for sure.
Tommy Rich quickly moved out of the way. And Fatu just teed off on his brother. Now, they've been known to fight each other before. And they're, well,
not now. Hey, we're gonna hug and make up on that. That was an honest mistake. An accident. I hit you by accident.
Would that be considered a tag?
that was very definitely a tag, right.
Tommy Rich working on the arm, very quick movement there. Captain Mike now will be the legal man, comes right off the top with the elbow, right on the tricep area, into the arm bar, and taking the big Samoan down to one knee. Now you can see Rotunda, the wide vertical base, using the leverage.
Did he show you some athletic ability when he came off that rope, when he stood on that top rope to come in?
Great agility.
Yes, sir.
You know, when he was 9 years old, he was a national finalist in the punt, pass, and kick competition. Great athlete.
Uh-oh.
And a side slam.
Boy, that'll take it out.
That has a way of changing momentum right there. And the Samoan opening up on Tommy Rich. That'll bring Tommy in, giving the Samoans the opportunity to double team the referee, preoccupied with Tommy Rich. And Mike Rotunda felt the blunt of that force, double force from the Samoans. And now front face locking Captain Mike Rotunda. Are we going to see a suplex? Indeed we are. Standing vertical suplex, and he really snapped it off.
Boy, did he have the power behind it.
Lateral press, Bob, and we got one. Mike Rotunda kicks out. Rotunda's in great physical condition. Cardiovascular conditioning is really very, very top-notch, but he's thrown out there now, and the Samoans controlling this match. And a thrust kick right to the face.
Boy, to take the kind of pounding he has, he's got to be in tremendous condition and shape, but he's a fighter. He's all heart. He'll keep coming back and coming back for more.
Rotunda, I thought he was going to block the hip lock. He did momentarily. Big clothesline caught him. Now the Samoans tagging in and out very quickly.
Rotunda needs a tag too, Jim. He needs to get to the corner for a tag now. Rich has been out for a while. He's fresh. We need a fresh man in for their team.
Samoan Savage holding Captain Mike at bay. Right after this match, don't go to the refrigerator because it's going to be Theodore R. Long and Paul Ellering.
Hey, I am really looking forward to that.
I don't think it's going to be any fireman carries or any go-behinds, but it could be somewhat interesting. But more importantly, I guess, for those two guys, someone's getting a little haircut.
Yeah, it looks to me like that a good strong wind would blow Theodore Long right over, so it'd be interesting to see what he does in there, Jim.
He's happy, though, Bob. James Brown is out, and he's happy about that. He led that movement, or so he says. Front face lock by the Samoan. Mike Rotunda knows that as long as he's down this down position, he's going to be at a distinct disadvantage.
There's that tag, though.
Tag was made. I don't think the referee saw it. He did not.
No.
And Mike Rotunda, who finally made the tag, but it's to no avail. And Rotunda thrown all the way over. Now that's an automatic disqualification, ladies and gentlemen.
The referee again didn't see that, Jim.
He's got to see it. You can't call it if you don't see it. Tommy Rich around to help his partner, but there you see the Savage. Rotunda's almost out on his feet. There's a big chop on the Samoan. Both men exchanging rights, and now all four out there. Oh man, what a kick! That got him right in the face.
And
right in the face.
You can hear it just splatter when it hit.
It really hit with a thud, and now Rotunda is in danger of being counted out. Rotunda in trouble. Tommy Rich, as any good partner should, standing guard, so to speak, over his man. But referee Randy Anderson, now the Samoans right here are making an error.
Yeah.
The referee broke his count. Rotunda may have been counted out here and still may be.
Yeah. It was not a wise move by the Samoans at all. If he had stayed in his spot, it all could have been over right there. I think Rotunda would have been counted out. I don't think he could have made it back in the ring by the count.
Rotunda's eyes are really glazed here. He's been in there a long, long time. And as you can see, these men are perspiring profusely. Very hot here in the squared circle under these lights. Snap mare, Rotunda down. And the Savage with some momentum, but he missed that right kick. He missed the kick there. Comes right back with a forearm and tags in Fatu. And Fatu with a thrust. Rotunda trying to waist lock his way out of this. But you can see that front face lock really locked in.
Yeah, and he just cannot get the force behind it to back up the Savage. The Savage he's got his base low enough to the mat to where he's got a good strong hold, and Rotunda just can't push him back. His legs are spread wide, his base is low, and Rotunda can't move him.
And these guys are so strong also. 3 championship matches yet to come. The hair versus hair match, plus the Rock and Roll Freebirds Corporal Punishment The men will have leather straps. They'll be able to use them as they choose. And then, big cage match will conclude our evening here on this live pay-per-view broadcast. We thank you so much for allowing us to come into your homes wherever you may be. Referee Randy Anderson checking Mike Rotunda. I'll say this, in all the years I've known Mike Rotunda, that's quite some time. He's been wrestling 8 years. I've known him most of that time. Yeah. I've never seen him submit in a match. No. I don't think we will here tonight.
No, I don't think that's in his vocabulary, that word submit. I don't think he knows what it is. He's struggling, he's fighting. He knows he's in trouble. He's been trying to get to the tag and for the last several minutes. He desperately needs to get over, but the Savage, I tell you, the Savages are wrestling smart, Jim. They're keeping him away from that tag.
That's great tag team strategy. Your tags are frequent, your opponent's tags are not. You select one man or whatever the breaks may dictate and pick out that one individual that you can work on and continue to work on. That's what they've done here with Captain Mike Rotunda, and Tommy Rich very anxious to get back into this contest.
Well, the match really hasn't gone the way I thought it would go too, Jim. I thought that the longer the match went, that the big, heavier Samoans, that the toll would be taken on them more than the other team. But it's been Rotunda who's been pounded.
Mike Rotunda, the great elbow there. Out of desperation, perhaps, but in any event, it was very effective. And now Mike Rotunda is as close to his corner as he has been.
Reach out.
He is trying to make the tag, but he is so dazed. He has been really hammered. And Rotunda now snap-married back into the center of the ring. Another reverse chin lock by the Samoan Savage. Again, Rotunda in trouble. A real gut check for that young man from Syracuse, New York.
And when they got Rotunda in trouble, the tempo of the match rapidly turned in favor of the Samoans. And that's the way the match has been going.
Samoan trying to use the ropes there for some added leverage, as Mike Rotunda would like to set out of this position, turn his hips. But there you see, those must be 13 or 14 triple E's. These guys are not, you don't see them shopping for shoes very often.
That's right. But I'll tell you, that foot and the bottom of that foot is just about as hard as a shoe. And when Rotunda got it in the face, he thought there was a hard boot on it. I'm sure of that.
Mike Rotunda back up that vertical base. Yeah, he needs to reach out and make the tag. Tommy Rich now tagged him. Tommy Rich tagged the arm.
Don't tell me that.
And Pee Wee Anderson still did not see the tag. And the SST double elevate Captain Mike Rotunda. Lateral press, this could be all. Rotunda, but he kicked out. You can see Rotunda, he's really dazed.
Twice it's happened to him. Twice he's made the tag. There's a blow. What a chop that was.
Really a bad break for Rotunda, and Rich, referee not seeing the tag, could not allow it. Rotunda, though, fighting back with everything he's got, man. What an athlete he is. And a nice clothesline. Mike got him from the left side, even though he's a right-hander. That was just out of desperation, Bob.
But every move that he does now takes so much out of him that he doesn't quite have enough left to get over to the corner to make a tag. There he goes.
And there's a tag. Here comes Tommy Wildfire Rich, who should be very well rested. He sends Fatu in for the ride. Nice drop kick by Wildfire. Big right hand, sending the Savage for the ride. And he elevates that big 300-pounder. Tommy Rich with the elbow. Rich now up on top. Trying to fight off both these guys. Rotunda in there as well. Good drop kick. Rotunda put, I think it's Fatu over the top rope. And now Rotunda and Rich are going to do some double teaming. Tommy's got that sleeper. Referee's putting Mike Rotunda out of the ring. The Samoan right off the top. From behind on Tommy Rich. This is it. The Samoans, the SST, have won it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the match, the SST.
What a turn in the tide of battle when Tommy Rich had the sleeper on the Samoan. He would have put him out, but here you see in slow motion the tremendous leap off of the top rope, right to the back of the head of Rich. 1, 2, 3, it's all over. There are your winners.
Tony Schiavone is standing by, ladies and gentlemen, with the tag team champions of the world. Let's go to Tony Schiavone and the Steiners.
Okay, Jim Ross, thank you very much. When you talk about the great athletes in the NWA, it stops right here, guys, because you got them, the World Tag Team Champions, Scott and Rick Steiner, and listen to the response tonight, putting the titles up against Doom.
You know, Doom's a tough team. But they got that Kenny Long, too.
So we got a lot to offer for a lot of things out there. Me and my brother, we prepared for this match, and we're gonna do whatever we have to do to win.
I'm sure that's true, Scotty.
You know, Tony Schiavone, when me and my brother were growing up, we went through a lot together. And we were in college on our way to becoming All-Americans. We won a lot of matches together. But there was a few matches that we lost. But believe me, when it was time to wrestle the Steiner brothers, that line was very short. But believe me, nobody's unbeatable and nobody's invincible. Doom, you want a match with us? Well, you're not gonna get one. Because we came to Washington, D.C. to suplex you on your head. He came here to give you a clothesline, and when it's all said and done, and the smoke's clear, you're gonna be like everybody else, beat up.
All right, from Scott and Rick Steiner, ready to go against Doom tonight right here at Capital Combat 90, the return of RoboCop. Let's go back to more action.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to acknowledge the winners in the Capital Combat 90 sweepstakes. They are Mr. and Mrs. Robert Benner. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the guest ring announcer for the Hair versus Hair Managers match. Ladies and gentlemen, the First Lady of Wrestling, the very lovely Missy Hyatt. And ladies and gentlemen, Missy Hyatt is accompanied by the world-renowned hairstylist, Jay Tapper, who will shave the hair of the loser of this following contest.
This match, one fall to a finish, hair versus hair. Introducing first from Minnesota at 200 pounds, Precious Paul Ellering. And his opponent, making his way to the ring from Atlanta, Georgia, he is Theodore R. better known as Sugar Ray Long.
Listen, Teddy.
He better dance his way out of that ring, I think, instead of in it.
I don't think, Sugar Ray, another great Sugar Ray Leonard from right down the street here. I'm not sure if he's here tonight. If he's watching at home, Sugar Ray, it was Long's idea to call himself after you, my friend.
And I tell you another thing, I don't think he's going to get any pointers from Sugar Ray Long.
Bob, I don't think this match is going to last real long. Teddy Long's got some mighty spiffy tights on there. He's got those gloves on, got a headgear on. Paul Ellering, a former NCAA powerlifting champion.
You know, Ellering was a world weightlifting champion at one time, too, Jim. He lifted over about 740-some pounds for the world championship.
Ellering in great shape. A long-distance runner. A man that I think aspires to compete in the Iditarod. And right there, he's got Teddy Long right by the goose.
Ooh, man. Now let's see what kind of punch he's going to throw.
I think Teddy's best offense has come and gone.
That's right. And if Ellering were to hit him with that right hand, when he went back with it like that from left field, that may be all you'd see of Teddy Long for a month.
Teddy Long, you think he may have something in those gloves?
He's got a brick. I don't know if he could hold a brick up or not, but he's got something in there.
I just wonder, because you would think he would just tape his fists up and use them more of a weapon, unless he's got something in that in those gloves. And
it looks like Ellering may be trying to take it off. Is he trying to take that glove off?
I think he is, Bob. Working
there
on the glove.
Is.
There you see. Now he's got that glove off. Sends Theodore Long in, catches him with the elbow, and now Teddy Long, as I have said, he may have shown us his last bit of offense. Precious Paul, a tremendous athlete in his own right. What's in there, Paul?
Let's see what he's going to find.
What's in there, Paul? There's something in there, all right. Oh, Teddy, here's your
Watch
wake-up
out.
call. Good night, Teddy. There was something in that glove. There it is on the mat, right? You can see it to the right of your screen. Precious Paul, this one is over, and it's time for a haircut.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the match, Precious Paul Ellering, and now Jay Tapper will shave the head of Theodore R. Long.
You got to wake him up first to get him into a chair.
I think you ought to just do it
Shave
while we're
it
here.
while he's asleep. Oh, well, hey, he is. That's what he's going to do.
It won't take him long to cut it, I'll
Yeah.
tell you. It won't take him too long right there.
Boy, he's
Theodore
good.
R. Long is getting a real trim.
He's taking it off in globs. I tell you, for a world-famous hairstylist, he's not conducting much of a style on that head, is he?
He cut a lot of hair out there. It's all over the mat. Theodore R. Long is, oh, he can't stand it.
Is he embarrassed? Yes, sir.
He is embarrassed. His hair has been cut, and he's been cultivating those locks for a long time. He doesn't want anybody to see him. Let's go to Tony Schiavone, ladies and gentlemen, who's standing by.
Okay, Jim Ross, as Theodore R. Long makes his way out, we are now joined here by members of the Horsemen. Ole Anderson, Arn Anderson, the gigantic Sid Vicious. I know you have something on your mind. Jim Ross has talked about the situation with Lex Luger.
But I'll tell you what, everybody's been talking about how great Lex Luger is and what a courageous man. As far as we're concerned, only an idiot would do what Lex Luger is doing. Talk about a hospital, Luger. Well, you make it out here, and I guarantee you, your last breath is going to be taken right out there in that squared circle. All you got to do is realize this. The Horsemen, I mean the Horsemen, have never, ever allowed a title to leave the hands of the world heavyweight champion, Ric Flair! And we're not going to let it happen tonight! Step in here, champ!
Bottom line is, Luger, if you got a problem going in with that leg, you're gonna be a one-legged athlete the rest of your life. You understand what I'm telling you? When you walk that aisle, you pay the price for thinking that one day in your life you are half the man that I am every day as your world heavyweight wrestling champion. Right, Double A!
Luger, truer words have never been spoken. We are all individuals, thinking individually, working collectively towards the same goal. My friend, we are all synchronized gears working together to keep what belongs to the Horsemen. And as God is our witness, we'll die before we'll let him lose that. Remember it.
All right!
All right, there it is from the Horsemen. Right now, let's go back to Jim Ross and Bob Caudle.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be a major happening here with this situation. They are obsessed to keep that championship belt in the camp of the Horsemen, Bob.
Well, Jim, that's right, and they talk about the warning and what they're going to do, but I think the important part of that, and I don't think we ought to overlook it, is the fact that's a cage match, and the Horsemen are not going to be in there with Ric Flair.
That's the purpose of the cage, to keep everybody out, keep the competitors in. We're anxiously awaiting that contest. But coming up here, ladies and gentlemen, in just a few moments, our first championship event of Capital Combat 90, the return of RoboCop. The United States Tag Team Championship will be on the line in just a moment. Let's go back up to the world's most dangerous announcer, Gary Capetta.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is for the United States Tag Team Championship. The challengers to be introduced by their manager. States Tag Team Champions. First from Minneapolis, Minnesota, weighing 251 pounds, the Z-Man. His tag team partner from Cincinnati, Ohio, 226 pounds, Flying Brian.
Well, you talked about Jim Cornette not going to interfere in this match. We got a special home for him, all figured out and ready to go for this match, Jim, and that's a cage sitting right out there beside the ring.
It's a home for wayward wimps. And it's got a big wide door on it so he can fit in there.
Fit in it, that's right.
Cornette has managed the Midnight Express to the only time, to my knowledge, that a team in World Championship Wrestling simultaneously held the U.S. titles and world titles.
Remember the special stipulation during the entirety of this match. Jim Cornette will be locked in the steel cage at ringside.
Well, Cornette's going to argue about this. He doesn't want to, and who can blame him? He doesn't want to get in that cage.
Well, it's the best place for him. It'll keep him safe and sound because he is not the most popular guy in this match, no doubt about that. And it's starting off very quickly here, but I'm sure that the security is going to make Cornette get into that cage because this match, that's how it's been signed. And Z-Man and Pillman starting out very quickly. Cornette would like to stay out of the cage as long as possible.
Well, and so far he is still out as all four of them went at it. Now, hey, he's having to run for his life. The referee decked him.
I think he ran right into Randy Anderson and Cornette, who was a mixed doubles champion. Of course, his partner was named Jack. In college.
They're going to carry him out, Jim.
Well, he's going into the cage,
Yes,
Bob.
Brian Pillman and Z-Man physically carried him and put him in the cage, and there's security locking him in.
He looks pretty good behind bars.
Looks like maybe he's been there before, huh? He knows what those bars are.
I'm sure Mother Cornette back in Louisville, Kentucky is having a little seizure here that her little James E is sequestered safely and tucked away in that cage. He will not be a factor in this match, one would have to think.
Well, and fans, this is the first of our 3 championship matches. This one for the United States Tag Team Championship. The champions, Jim, of course, are Z-Man and Flying Brian. But as you mentioned earlier, what an outstanding team are the Midnight Express. They've been United States champions. They've been World Tag Team champions. And as you mentioned, the only team to hold both those titles at the same time. They're outstanding. They're terrific. They're experienced. And they know what to do in the ring.
Collar and elbow and beautiful Bobby, I'll get it right. Pushing Flying Brian back into the corner. Little strategy talked over by Sweet Stan. Beautiful Bobby Eaton. 6-footer, 235, 10-year pro, native of Huntsville, Alabama. Ooh, good right hand. And Pillman fights back with a chop. And another chop. Flying Brian is so explosive. Nice football tackle by Pillman, who goes to the near side. Up and over. Beautiful Bobby. Beautiful Bobby held on, though, to the top rope. Flying Brian, nice leapfrog, and a drop kick. This drop kick is just scintillating. Nice hip lock takeover. And Flying Brian and Z-Man dominating the Midnight Express in the early going.
And it's a fast-paced match. I don't really know. I've been trying to sit here and figure out which team this might favor. Would this pace favor? Right now, it looks like Z-Man and Pillman.
Well, Cornette at this juncture of the match would normally get his team outside. Flying Brian up and over the top. What a double clothesline. What a dynamic move by Flying Brian Pillman.
The champions have already shown us so far in just the opening moments of the match that they're ready for it. They're primed and they're ready for the Midnight Express. The Express, I think, have got to go back. They got to regroup. They got to get it together again.
Out there to talk to James E. He can only give them verbal encouragement. That tennis racket's going to be neutralized here because it's in the cage with him. Soon to have the appearance, we understand, of Sting and RoboCop. We'll be going back to Gordon Solie as soon as we have that information. He doesn't like being in there, Bob,
I think he may be afraid that somebody may have lost the key, that he might not be going to get out of there.
Looked like his eyes are kind of welled up, a little teary-eyed.
We got 4 great athletes in this match, Jim. The Midnight Express, the Sweet Stan, Beautiful Bobby, tremendous athlete. Stan showing you some of his athletic ability right there, but he's a great wrestler, outstanding competitor also.
Nice arm drag takeover by the Z-Man, and another deep arm drag takeover. That makes it number 3. And Sweet Stan, and now Beautiful Bobby in from behind. Sweet Stan with a drop kick, but he missed the mark and hit his partner. And another drop kick by Z-Man. Sweet Stan in the wrong corner. Being nailed by Pillman, and then Z-Man, and Sweet Stan again rolls out of the ring. Wants some advice.
They made him pay for that mistake when he went to the wrong corner for the tag. Boy, he got 5 fingers, and there were knuckles right into the mouth. Maybe Cornette could tell him what he was doing wrong. We talked about Stan, what a great athlete he is. Nobody, I don't think, in professional wrestling is a more all-around better athlete than his Beautiful Bobby, Jim, the high flyer. He's just an outstanding, tremendous athlete.
Of course, Flying Brian, an All-American nose guard at Miami of Ohio. Mid-America Conference MVP, defensive MVP, 2 seasons. Great athlete, sunset flip. Turning predicament, but Sweet Stan freed himself there. Nice arm drag takeover. And a poke right to the eye, and a very quick tag. Here goes Beautiful Bobby. He's arm drug right over into the arm bar. Beautiful Bobby will not stay there long. He is perpetual motion.
Yes, sir. He's going to turn in. He's on his knees already in the move to try to get to his feet. And you better be sure that that brain of his is running a mile a minute right now as he's thinking, hey, this is not going the way we had it all mapped out. What are we going to do? What kind of strategy are we going to change? And how are we going to turn this around?
Great right hand by Beautiful Bobby.
That's one way, Jim. That'll turn it around.
Certainly will. Nice tackle. Goes to the far side, gets more momentum. Up and over. There's a sunset flip by Beautiful Bobby, but Pillman rolls right out. Pillman lands on his feet. Oh, what great agility. And there's that drop kick we were telling you about. Caught Beautiful Bobby right in the kisser.
I don't think there's many teams that the Midnight Express have faced that have the athletic ability as does Flying Brian and Z-Man. And this may be a little confusing to them at the moment, Jim.
I know there's another big Capital Combat party going on in Cincinnati. Boomer Esiason and a bunch of Bengals watching this broadcast because their former teammate, the young man in the orange tights, won the Ed Block Courage Award while playing for the Bengals. Tagging in the Z-Man. And the Z-Man with the wrist lock on Sweet Stan, but Stan, those fingers extended right to the throat of Z-Man. He missed with the elbow. Boy, all 4 of these guys are so quick.
Yes, sirree. And I tell you, they got bodies, they got builds, they're athletes, they're quick. You talk about Flying Brian Z-Man, former Mr. Minnesota, 250 pounds, 6'2". Boy, he's an outstanding specimen in his own right.
5-year pro, certainly compliments Flying Brian quite well. Up and over he goes. And here comes the atomic drop. And Beautiful Bobby ran right into his partner. Boy, it has been all U.S. Tag Team Champions here. And perhaps the deciding factor.
Is that man right there?
Is that man there?
Yes, sir.
That's the factor.
That's the factor. He's in the cage, and he's not a factor in the match.
One thing about it, Pillman and Z-Man don't have to keep their eye on Cornette circling the ring and that ever-present tennis racket in hand. He likes to load it. He likes to use it. He's going to have a hard time doing it while he's in the cage, that's for sure. A Sweet Stan with a martial arts kick to the midsection and then to the back. Sweet Stan from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina originally. And it was originally trained by the greatest in the sport, Nature Boy Ric Flair. Quick tag, here comes Beautiful Bobby, nice arm drag takeover, and the Z-Man with that arm bar and that knee, you can see the shin, the right shin right across the face, down to an overhand wrist lock. Beautiful Bobby turning on one hip to keep that off shoulder up off the canvas.
Well, they've taken the match right to the Midnight Express. They've been on top of them since the opening bell.
Beautiful Bobby, nice reversal. Somewhat controversial, obviously, pulled the hair. Boy, great crowd. As we said earlier, it was a little bit late getting into the facility. Every ticket has been sold. And Jim Cornette very anxiously looking at this situation. Randy Anderson up and over, and Beautiful Bobby, I think, pulled the hair again, Bob.
Jim, you know, Flying Brian and Z-Man also, they're the new breed of professional wrestling. College graduates. These fellows have come out of college. They were great collegiate athletes, either professional or football players in college, wrestlers in college, professional football players later, big, strong, professional athletes, and it's an entirely new breed.
Certainly is, and we'll see more of that that ilk a little bit later in the broadcast. And now Flying Brian, look at this agility right up top.
Oh my!
Trying to go to the sunset flip. He finally got it. Beautiful Bobby right back into the hold, but a count of 2 there. And a nice wrist lock by Flying Brian, tagging in the Z-Man. And they double team Beautiful Bobby. Up he goes into the lights.
Looked like he was going to hit right on his head. He was going to come down like an arrow.
Well, Mayor Marion Barry's favorite tag team, or so says Jim Cornette. Now, will that be a disqualification? Apparently not.
I think the referee does not believe it was a deliberate move to throw him over the top rope.
Midnight Express having their problems. Double hip lock takeover by Pillman and Z-Man. And the U.S. Tag Champions are certainly controlling this one thus far. It's at this juncture where we usually see Jim Cornette get his men out, regroup them, and revise and review strategy.
I think they're a little bit befuddled right now. I know for a fact before the match, the Midnight Express, they said, hey, we're going to go in, we're going to work these 2 guys over, we're going to come out with that championship. Jim, they were extremely confident. I think now they've lost a lot of that confidence because it's not gone their way. If you had to go on points right now, the champions would certainly be ahead.
You're right, Bob, and an arm bar or a hammerlock applied momentarily by the Z-Man, and another quick tag. Both these teams like to use a quick tag, and the Z-Man caught Beautiful Bobby coming in with a scoop slam. There's a lateral press. He's got the leg grapevine. Could not really hook it, so he only got 2 that time. But he tags in Flying Brian. A lot of quick exchanges here.
And they're working close to their corner. They're tagging in and out, in and out. So that really the opponent doesn't know who he's going to be facing each time he gets up and turns around.
Hillman with the armbar firmly secured. He was a member of the special teams, a wedge buster, one of those courageous kamikazes on the special teams for the Cincinnati Bengals in his NFL career.
Hey, you told me something right there. I'm not so sure how much he's got upstairs. I mean, man, you got to be out of your mind to do that.
It takes a special breed of athlete to play on special
teams. That's a suicide almost, Jim, to get into something like that. Suicide squad, practically.
That's what they call it.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful Bobby finally back up to that vertical base. United States Tag Team Championship on the line here. Beautiful Bobby trying to hold Flying Brian down. Boy, great strength here. Now look at this. What? Look at the strength here, this kid. Bobby up and over. And Pillman. Big mistake there made by Flying Brian. Let's don't call it a mistake, but a neck breaker on the outside.
His own velocity took him right over the top rope and out of the ring. But look how quickly Beautiful Bobby came back to take advantage of it.
Pillman now really on Dream Street. Wearily crawling back up to the apron. Oh, man. Face first right across the steel security railing.
You know, how's he going to get up from something like that? Jim, that's a steel fence around the ring to separate the ring area from the fans. That was a tremendous blow that he took right into the throat. He's got to be gasping for air. He's having a hard time breathing right now.
Flying Brian finally makes his way back in. And Stan Lane, who at one time attended East Carolina University, snapping that neck right off the top rope, right over the top. A lot of agility, nice clothesline by Sweet Stan. And they're going to work on the neck of Flying Brian.
When they get you hurt, it doesn't get any easier. Boy, are they going to work on you, and they're going to work on that spot.
Snap mare, Pillman over. And now Beautiful Bobby with the elbow right. Oh, man.
As I say, they're going to stay with that neck, Jim. They're going to stay right on that. You can't fault them for that.
Lateral press. There's 2.5. And Flying Brian kicks out. Still to come on Capital Combat 90. An appearance by Sting and RoboCop. The Horsemen are here. Oh, what a move. Slingshot maneuver right into the backbreaker. And the Midnight Express, once they're on the attack, can perform as good as any tag team in the sport today.
If they get you hurt, they're going to stay right on it. Boy, and they're not going to give you any breathing room, and Brian certainly hasn't had any. That youngster's in bad trouble now.
Pillman really gasping for air. Thank goodness he's in great condition.
Yeah, but he's hurting.
Look at beautiful Bobby with that knee right across the throat, robbing this kid of the oxygen.
That's about the first time I've seen a smile on Jim Cornette's face.
He likes what he sees right now, and rightfully so. Nice drop toe by Sweet Stan, and that's vintage Midnight Express offensive strategy there. Boy, they team as one. One, and a near fall, 2 out of it again, and the Z-Man came in to interrupt the count.
He got in just in the nick of time to save Bryan at that time. It would have been all over as the referee had the hand ready to come down with that 3rd count.
Thrust kick to the solar plexus. Flying Bryan again being punished by the challengers. Pillman, as you see in the ring, and his partner Tom Zink, the Z-Man, are the United States Tag Team Champions. And Pillman thrown outside again, and Sweet Stan taunting the Z-Man. Now right here's where Cornette usually really comes into play, but not this time.
Yeah, not in the cage. He certainly can't do it, but here's Stan out. Again, there's that steel cage. That one, I think, got him right on the head.
Pillman right maybe across the bridge of the nose there. And Pillman, the handsome youngster from Cincinnati, ran face first into the security railing. It's much to the Midnight Express advantage to get him back in the ring, because the championship will not change hands on a countout or disqualification. And that's what they're doing, getting him back in the ring. They want to pin him. They got to pin him or make him submit. Sunset flip. The referee is detained with beautiful Bobby, and Sweet Stan kicked out at 2 and quickly tags in beautiful Bobby again, and Flying Bryan desperately needs to make the tag.
Jim, if the referee had been there, I think he would have been counted out. He could have counted 3 on him then.
Now beautiful Bobby with a high wrist move going up top. This is his domain on the top rope. Big elbow drop right off the top, pulverizing Pillman. And referee Randy Anderson 1, 2. Oh, we almost had a half a count from new champions. Pillman with that great tenacity and fighting hard. This courageous young kid, reminiscent of a man that just got out of the hospital today. We're talking about Lex Luger, a man full of courage, and so is Flying Bryan, who's fighting with all he has to retain these belts, but he's getting a succession of 2 counts.
The tide of battle has definitely changed, and it's changed in the favor of the Midnight Express. In the opening minutes of the match, it was like they had to get their ring legs under them, and that they've certainly done now.
Inside cradle. Can he hold him? Got only one. Pillman's really weakened now.
Yes, sir. He's taken a lot of punishment, a lot of pounding, and with the amount of punishment he's taken, while he can come back, it's hard to sustain a comeback.
Coach Sam Weitz of the Bengals said this kid is one of the most gutsy players he'd ever coached. And it's going to take a real show of intestinal fortitude here for Flying Bryan to sustain this onslaught.
I think about the only thing can save him is to get to a tag. If he can get the Z-Man for a tag, that's what he's got to do.
I'm not sure. Has Pillman been lacerated there? It seemed like he may be bleeding from the head.
Ooh, again.
Close again.
Oh, just pure determination on his part.
It may be just a matter of time now. How much longer can Flying Bryan hang on? Beautiful Bobby with a handful of hair. This crowd here in a hushed anticipation of what they are seeing and perhaps what they may be seeing. And Flying Bryan up to his feet.
Go to the corner for a tag.
Thumb right to the eye. Thumb right to the eye. Another scoop slam by beautiful Bobby, and now Eaton will again ascend to the top. If he nails him with another elbow, I think it will be over.
It could be it. It was not a smart move on Bryan not to go for the tag.
Wow, what a move. What a move. That leg drop from the top rope. Pillman he's got to be down here. 1, 2, this is, he kicked out. He kicked out Bob.
How did he do it after that move over that top rope? Cornette can't believe it. The fans in the arena can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Cornette was ready to shine those belts. Beautiful Bobby Pillman up and over. What a great move by Pillman. Raw strength there and determination. This kid has got guts. And he's going to crawl with all he has to make the tag. He needs to make the tag. And the referee's there. He sees it. Lane is in. working on beautiful Bobby. And he elevates the Alabama native right up into the lights. And there goes Sweet Steen. Oh, what an elbow. Z-Man is well rested, Bob, but can he hold both these men off? He's got the sleep hold on Stan Lane.
He can do it for a while, but he can't sustain it, I'm sure.
Side Russian leg sweep by Sweet Stan. He's positioning Z-Man into the center of the ring. Here comes the rocket launcher. If he hits it, will that be all? The rocket launcher right off the top rope. Can he hold him down? 1, 2. No, he kicked out. I thought it would be over. I thought it would be over there.
4 or 5 times the spin was just in a half a count of all being over. We've been that close to having new champions.
Irish whip and beautiful Bobby. Right to the turnbuckle. He sat right on that middle turnbuckle, and that is not too comfortable.
What a beautiful picture that the camera had there. The pain on the face of beautiful Bobby out of that corner.
Z-Man with a high cross body right out of the turnbuckle. But a Sweet Stan interrupting the count. Flying Brian cannot control his emotions. Being put out of the ring by Randy Anderson. There's a savant kick from the back of the head by Stan Lane. Inside cradle by beautiful Bobby. And we've got new champions.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winners and new United States Tag Team Champions, the Midnight Express.
Midnight Express, without Jim Cornette's assistance, have won the United States Tag Team Championship. What a tremendous matchup we saw. It could have gone either way, Bob.
It was tooth and nail from the opening bell, and watch Stan here now as he's got that foot and that kick ready. Z-Man, unaware of the fact that he was behind him even, Jim, caught the full force of it and into the cradle. 1, 2, 3.
Well, fans, the new United States Tag Team Champions have been crowned here, and they will move the cage out of the way as we prepare for our next event. Fans, we want to remind all of you that our next big pay-per-view spectacular, the biggest event of the summer, will be the Great American Bash, the new Revolution, Saturday night, July 7th, from the Baltimore Arena. And I understand Gordon Solie is Sting about ready to come out. Gordon, are you there? Well, I think we're going to Gordon Solie. We should be about ready for the appearance of
Jim
Sting.
Ross, forgive me for interrupting, but it looks like something's going on down here. The doors have opened, security men are coming out, and it looks like, yes, it is indeed Sting and RoboCop are making their way out to the arena. RoboCop listening as he comes out through the light, and I'll tell you one thing, 4 horsemen, watch out for Stinger.
Watch it.
Stand by.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for that. Someone apparently has grabbed the camera. Let's go back to Gary Capetta.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a pleasure to introduce the man that so many little stringers have been pulling for. He is explosive. He is charismatic. He is Sting.
Everyone standing, and this capacity crowd standing on their feet. Let's go back to Gary Capetta.
And ladies and gentlemen, the nation's #1 law enforcer. He serves the public trust, protects the innocent, upholds the law, the ultimate peace officer, RoboCop.
Great ovation for RoboCop as he makes his way to the ring. He'll be coming into our camera view here. Now, wait a minute, the Horsemen are already up. They just threw Sting in the cage. They just threw Sting in the cage that Cornette was in. Sting has been caged by the Horsemen, but here comes RoboCop, Bob.
Sid Vicious, Ole Anderson, Arn Anderson, they all attacked him, threw him into the cage. But look at RoboCop now as he's approaching.
He is not.
They're backing away from him.
He's not intimidated, Bob. RoboCop going right to the cage. This
You're
deal.
gonna be a bucket of balls till we get done with you.
Oh gosh almighty! He's pulling that door right off the hinges. Woohoo! What strength by RoboCop! And now do you want a piece of him, Horseman?
Look at Ole and Arn and Big Sid back up. And the expression on their faces say, what the heck have we got here?
They say there'll be another day. When Ole Anderson saw RoboCop pull that steel door right off the cage, they said, we better wait for another day. Sting and RoboCop have asserted themselves here. Sting looks phenomenal. He looks to be 100%, Bob. He and his buddy RoboCop. I'll tell you, the Horsemen wanted no part of either of those, especially the Stinger and RoboCop. Let's go back up now to Gary Cappetta.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's much more wrestling action to come, but a reminder that the next pay-per-view spectacular of World Championship Wrestling is set for Saturday night, July 7th, when we anxiously anticipate the return of Sting to the Baltimore Arena. Remember, that's Saturday night, July 7th. And now, ladies and gentlemen, up to Tony Schiavone.
Okay, Gary Cappetta and the whole world, the NWA World Championship Wrestling, very excited as we bring this man in right here, returning to the NWA World Championship Wrestling. Let's hear it for the Junkyard Dog.
You know, it's been a long time coming, and everybody got something they got to look forward to. I done been all over this world, Puerto Rico, Japan, and everybody have a downfall. But I went to the mountain one time too many. But now I'm back here in World Championship Wrestling. I'm looking for you, the Four Horsemen. Mean Mark and anybody else that's stuck in the dog yard. Playtime is over, baby. I'm here to stay. So you just bring them on down. Like I said time and time again, every dog needs a bone to chew on, and I found myself a bone.
Certainly found himself a bone and a word, not only to guys like Mean Mark, but what's going on here?
Here a second, Tony Schiavone. This is supposed to be the time that the winner of that tag team match has to talk about the new champions of Midnight Express. This ain't supposed to be your time, so I tell you what, now that we've heard all that you got to say, Junkyard Dog, why don't you go on back in the back and let me say that the Midnight Express did what they said couldn't be done. Said the Midnight Express couldn't win the big one anymore. Said I'd lost it, but we're the U.S. Tag Team Champions. Where have you been the past several years, huh? Where have you been since you left the NWA? We've been out there winning matches. The Midnight Express has been winning titles. Where have you been, huh?
Where have I been? I've been at 845 DeBerry Street in Louisville, Kentucky. You know where that is?
That's my mother's house.
That's what I'm saying. I'm your daddy.
Wait a minute. You may be able to talk to me like that, but you sure can't talk to that guy like that.
Uh-oh. Master James E. May get waylaid here.
You know, that's why I stopped school, because I don't like recess, and I'm not here to play. I'm here to stay. So you tell the NWA the dog is back. Okay, Jack?
Okay. The dog is back. Enough said. Let's go to more action.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is the Corporal Punishment match. It is set for one fall. Introducing first, making her way toward the ring from Memphis, Tennessee. Total combined weight, 440 pounds. Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson, The Rock and Roll Express.
Bob, they're coming in with accompanied by an antique Wurlitzer jukebox.
That's right, rocking and rolling, that's for sure now.
Rocking and rolling and rocking till the break of dawn. Boy, this is going to be a physical match. Leather straps. There's going to be some skin removed in this one. Let's hear now, in just a moment, the introduction of their challengers from Bad Street, USA.
And ladies and gentlemen, their opponents from Bad Street, USA in Atlanta, Georgia, the greatest rock and roll band of all time, the Fabulous Freebirds.
Michael Hayes on your left, Jimmy Jam Garvin on your right. That's Michael Hayes' song. That's Michael Hayes singing his theme song.
And remember, ladies and gentlemen, all wrestlers will be tied to leather straps to use in any way deemed necessary to win this match.
accompanying the fabulous Freebirds. And fireworks aplenty, I think we'll see here. We've already seen Theodore Arlong get his locks cut. We've seen new United States Tag Team Champions. We've seen Sting and RoboCop stand off the Horsemen, but never, ever for one moment count the Horsemen down.
sir.
They'll have another plan for Sting. He is a marked man, no doubt, Bob.
Well, you talked earlier about Ole Anderson. Ole is never surprised. He's the type of man, he's got everything planned. He's got everything plotted. He looks into everything, Jim. And if it's something he doesn't understand, he's going to figure it out, and he's going to find out what make it work.
As I said earlier, he was out here really surveying the cage, the ring, the ropes. They have an obsession to keep the World Heavyweight Championship around the waist of the legendary nature boy Ric Flair.
Now, Jim, this is a corporal punishment match, and that means, of course, somebody's going to get whipped, and they're going to get whipped hard with leather straps.
Well, Bob, this match has, as you said, very unusual rules. The leather straps have been attached to the ring post. I thought they were going to be attached to the wrist of the men, but they're going to be attached to the ring post. That way they can use them at any time. And it will certainly, what a wake-up call that would be to get that leather across your bare back.
Yeah, you may see some skin lost in this one. We may see a lot of it lost.
An epidermis attack.
There's that moonwalk. Michael P.S.Hayes loves that, you know?
He said he invented it. Michael Jackson stole it from him. Junkyard Dog back in World Championship Wrestling. Said he wants a piece of the Horseman as well.
You know, the Horseman, there's a long line, I think, Jim, that is lining up right now for the Horseman. The Horseman may be in a little bit danger of the balance of scales tipping against them right now.
Hayes taunting these fans here. And many of the fans, and quite obviously, are solidly behind. There's Dennis Brent, the editor of the Wrestling Wrap-Up, the official publication of World Championship Wrestling. Fabulous Freebirds, Rock and Roll Express. Between these two teams, they have held the World Tag Team Championship on 5 different occasions. Rock and Roll have held it on 4 of those at times.
Rock and Roll have been together for some time, Jim, as well as have the Freebirds. But the Rock and Roll is such an outstanding tag team. They've got where they think alike. They know what the other man is going to do.
Michael Hayes just got the taste slapped right out of his mouth by Robert Gibson.
That could have been a strap. That could have been a leather strap that caught him across that face.
And it will be before this one's said and done. Collar and elbow tie-up. Hayes forces Gibson back into the corner. Hayes was going for the big roundhouse right. Michael Hayes, perhaps out of frustration, tagging in Jimmy Jam Garvin. And Garvin wants some of Ricky Morton. I don't think he'll have to ask twice.
No, Morton's ready. He says, let me go.
Ricky Morton, a second-generation prodigy in professional wrestling. His dad, Paul Morton, an outstanding wrestling referee in his day in the Tennessee area. And Jimmy Jam Garvin doing a little strutting, and Morton a little shadow strutting as well. Reversal of the Irish whip. And Gibson just nailed Garvin with that clothesline. Oh, clothesline, Ricky Morton. Garvin was talking when he should have been looking. Back very quickly back up to his feet.
Well, you got speed to burn in this match too, Jim. All 4 of them are so quick. If you blink your eye, you can't afford to turn your head on your opponent, not even look cross-eyed out of your eyes, or you're going to get hit with something.
Kind of like going through my hometown of Westville, Oklahoma. If you blink your eye, you're going to miss it.
Oh, yeah.
You'd already missed it, Bob. The home of the Yellow Jackets. And right there, the strap now may come to play here. Garvin has got it. Going for a clothesline with it. But Ricky Morton now has the strap himself. And
is he going to? Hey, yeah. Good heavens.
And they're strapping him with that leather. And Hayes, look at him high step. His mama and daddy never whipped him like this, I can tell you.
Boy, I tell you, that brings back memories. I've high-stepped a few times like that, around and around in a circle, when my old man had the strap.
My daddy took me to the woodshed a time or two.
Sir.
I remember it just like it was yesterday.
Well, the Freebirds were the first to get the taste of the leather.
I learned a long time ago, Bob, never to play hooky from school because that You spare the rod and spoil the child. Boy, after that day, I had perfect attendance for a long time.
Yes, sir.
Ricky Morton now, they're putting those straps back on the ring posts, and they'll be used again. You can be sure of that. Another collar and elbow, and Morton with a quick move there.
You know, we talk about the strap and talk about, hey, yeah.
Bull Nelson.
We talk about him whipping him with the straps. You know, Jim, that could be very dangerous. You could get a strap in the eye or something like that. You know, you never know what's going to happen when you got some other object in the ring.
Garvin drops down. Up sunset flip by Robert Gibson. 1, 2. And Garvin kicks out. Side headlock by Robert Gibson. Right over. Tags Ricky Morton. Morton and Gibson both have competed 8 years in professional wrestling. And about 7.5 of that have been as partners.
They just got that sixth sense of knowing what the other man is going to do.
They really and truly do. They have, you know, they're not the most powerful team in the sport, but they have raised the art of tag team wrestling to new highs. Side headlock. Hayes in there. And, well, there's no tag made. Let's see if the referee now will catch this one.
Well, he turns around. He looked like he's trying to figure out what was going on. I think he caught him, Jim.
Fans here, well, they're not going to tell on him.
No, they're not going to tell on him. That's for sure. Now we got the right man back in, though.
Michael Hayes really upset with referee Mike Atkins. Ricky Morton back in the ring. Well, they're kind of stretching the truth there a little bit. They didn't really make the tag, but, you know, all's fair in love in corporal punishment matches, I guess.
You know, you mentioned earlier that the Rock and Roll, not the biggest and most powerful team, tag team in wrestling, but Jim, they know how to use every bit of the ability they got. They don't leave any of it at home when they get into a match. They take it all to the ring with them.
Straight right hands by Robert Gibson, and now the Irish whip Ricky Morton into the corner, but he moved quickly out of the way. Single leg pickup by Morton now inside. He's going for the figure four, trying to go for the figure four here.
They both are.
They're both going to go for it. This is what Lex Luger must try to avoid in the World's Championship match. Oh, Hayes just raked the eyes of Ricky Morton. Hayes rolls out of the ring. And Robert Gibson and Jimmy Garvin, the legal men in this contest right now.
I'm really surprised that Garvin and Hayes haven't gone for the leather strap. I would have thought they'd have tried to get the strap and use it more. Maybe they're trying to just beat them down and get them in a position where they can really whip them.
I think you're right, Bob. I think that's exactly what perhaps both teams are attempting to do.
Yeah.
Nice elbow there by Michael Hayes. He has no shortage of confidence. Drops that right hand on the face of Robert Gibson.
Oh, here we come. All right, I spoke a little too soon. There it is. Ooh. Hey, Jim, that was across the shoulder.
You can hear it, too.
Yes, sir. Ooh, listen at it.
And, dueling whips. Hayes doesn't like these odds.
No, sir. What are we going to do now?
They're even. He doesn't like the even odds.
Not the even ones.
Ooh, he missed with that. Oh, man. He just nailed Hayes, and Hayes is hightailing it again. Gibson is whipping a hide off both the birds, and feathers are literally flying.
And you can hear those straps as they're landing on that meat on the back of the birds.
Man, it takes a lot of guts on both these teams' part to sign a contract full well knowing the consequences.
Yeah, why in the world would you do it? It's got to be, you got to really dislike, you got to more than dislike, you got to have an extreme hatred for somebody to say, hey, I'm going to get in there and take a match on like this, and I'm just going to whip him right into oblivion.
You know, Ricky and Robert knew the consequences of this, but they also know that their good friend Lex Luger, who just stepped out of the hospital this morning, I'm not sure Luger still doesn't even have his wristband on from the hospital. This guy's, what guts Luger's got, because he didn't have to wrestle this match. The World Championship Wrestling officials and Executive Vice President Jim Herd is in attendance for this event. I'm sure Mr. Herd would have been happy to substitute for Lex Luger, but Luger would not have any of that.
You take your hat off, and you got to, but I'm concerned for Luger because of that injury.
Morton dropped right over the top, or excuse me, Robert Gibson over the top rope. Knee to the back of the head, lateral press by Garvin, and Morton kicks out, or excuse me, Robert Gibson kicks out. Scoop slam by Jimmy Jam Garvin. Garvin family, tremendous reputation in our sport, and a lateral press again to no avail. Got 2 out of it. This time Gibson's foot, I think, was under the rope momentarily. Garvin pulls him back to the more to the center of the ring.
He's a little too far away from that rope now, and I'm surprised also that Garvin hadn't gone for the strap.
Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do.
Garvin telling the official, don't tell me what to do, and he's raking Gibson's face into that canvas. Boy, those Matt Burns they're stingingly painful. Gibson outside now, right through the second rope.
That's trouble.
Oh, big chop by Michael Hayes. Hayes with that left hand, he stung him with it.
You know, he's a left-handed individual. He's got a lot of power in that left hand, Jim, being a natural left-hander.
Garvin stomps away on Robert Gibson. Sending him to the far side, but Gibson catches him. The kick right to the face, tags in Ricky Morton.
I may have saw a tooth fly up then. Something went flying right out, and I think it was a tooth right out of the head of Garvin.
The competitive youngster from Nashville, Tennessee, Ricky Morton, competing gamely with Jimmy Jam Garvin, but Garvin knows it's Morton with the advantage. Morton rolls him up, 1, 2, and Hayes just nailed Ricky Morton with a thunderous left hand. I mean, he tattooed him right on the kiss.
And he's out, face down on the mat. You could count 10 on him, I believe. Look at Garvin's got him covered. And, hey, Jim. Oh, you can count on and on and on.
Referee got back in position, but got 2 out of it. Reverse chinlock now applied by Jimmy Jam Garvin.
Very fortunate for Ricky Morton that the referee was out of position and that he was talking to Michael P.S. Hayes.
Crowd chanting, rock and roll, rock and roll. Ricky Morton trying to make his way to the corner, but Garvin, sensing that the tag was about to be made, nailed Gibson, knocking him off the apron. And now look at this double team. Hayes right off the top. Big right hand. Hayes did not tag in. He's going to go for the cover. 1, 2 and a half. Oh, what, did he get it? No.
Oh, I thought he had 3.
Man, that was close.
Yes, sir. The referee's hand almost hit the mat on that 3rd count. That was just in the nick of time.
Still to come, ladies and gentlemen, here live in Washington, D.C. as we take a look at those blue eyes of Ricky Morton right into that face. It's covered with pain. 2 championship matches yet to come. The Steiner brothers, one of my favorite teams of all time, to defend the world titles against the awesome team of Doom and Theodore Arlong. Plus, the total package. His quest continues to be the man. But to be the man, Bob,
you gotta beat the man.
And he'll have to do it in a cage tonight. And now, Morton, straight rights. From the Volunteer State to Bad Street. Oh, that right, that left hand. I mean, the left hand was, you blink your eye,
yes,
and he dims those running lights.
It was just that quick. You couldn't even see it coming. It was so quick.
Michael Hayes to the elbow. Gets more momentum. Right hand. Hayes now opening it up. Hayes going for the momentum again. That's 3 high-impact moves. Lateral press. Will this be all? And right now, it's Morton kicking out.
I didn't think Morton even knew where he was, much less knowing he had to kick out.
Hayes, reverse chin lock. Oh, he's got a weird look on his face, doesn't he, Bob?
And I tell you, tempo right now definitely favors the Freebirds, too. For a while, the rock and roll had it up, and it was going their way. They had the pace exactly what they wanted, fast-paced. It has slowed some, and the Freebirds, they like it that way.
Our colleague Tony Schiavone will be talking to the world's strongest man, Doug Furness, and the Stinger, a little bit later in our broadcast here, ladies and gentlemen. And a Bulldog headlock. Michael Hayes nailed Ricky Morton. Mike Atkins down. Referee got 2 and a half, but Morton will not give it up.
Son of a gun, he almost had him again. And he kicked out again just in the nick of time. Talk about Sting, Jim. I just wanted to say briefly, you know, it really does your heart good to see the tremendous welcome and reaction from the crowd when Sting came walking into the arena a little early.
We certainly hope that he can return to active competition, perhaps by July 7th, our next pay-per-view spectacular, the Great American Bash, in the beautiful city of Baltimore, Maryland, on Saturday night, July the 7th. Neck vice. Garvin's got it applied.
Morton's been in for a long time, too. He needs a tag right now. He needs to get a breather. And again, I think I'm surprised, Jim, that the strap has not figured into the match any more than it has.
Nice move by Ricky Morton, but Garvin cuts him off. Garvin just cut off the ring in half, and it stopped Morton from making the tag. And Morton tossed outside, bend right out on the small of his back. I think he landed. And right there's the straps, Bob.
Yes, boy, when you hit that floor, you better believe the Freebirds are going to be right on top of you. He's got it around the throat now, choking him with it.
The deranged Michael Hayes choking Ricky Morton with that leather strap. These Freebirds are really sadistic individuals. Great tag team. You know, whether you like their philosophy, their strategy or not, you cannot discount their athletic abilities.
You know, Jim, when you look back on it, it's just like they don't say, how did we play the game? They look at the W's beside their matches.
You're right, Bob, and there's a knee buried deep to the midsection of Ricky Morton. And as my colleague Bob Cottle so adeptly pointed out, Morton has been in the ring a considerable length of time. In the meantime, the Freebirds have made frequent tags.
Yes, sir.
They have kept the fresh man in the ring. They have exhibited classic tag team strategy in this contest against one of the great tag teams of all time in World Championship Wrestling.
They got Morton slowed down to a crawl.
Nice slam there by Jimmy Jam Garvin. And now it's Garvin, who normally likes the ground attack, but he's going up top. High-risk move.
He may put him out here.
Well, there's Ricky Morton back up to his feet. They're exchanging right hands. Ricky Morton may have the best of this one.
Garvin in trouble now.
Morton expended a great deal of energy to slam Garvin off the top turnbuckle.
I don't think he has enough to get across the ring even. He's all the way across.
Hayes made sure he cut off the pursuit angle. Hayes quickly in. Nice block there by Ricky Morton. And Hayes' head ran into the top turnbuckle, but an elbow to the face of Ricky Morton.
Did he go? He went to the wrong corner, Jim.
I tell you, all the toll of the physical toll is really, I think, coming to the front here for all four of these guys.
Yeah, his mind is definitely not clear. Instead of going to his corner for the tag, he went to the wrong corner. You can hear that chop. It just resounded all through the building.
Another Bulldog headlock. Here it comes. But Morton freed himself. Great adjustment in midair by Morton, who put on the brakes.
Get to the tag. Boy, chomping at the bit. Look at Gibson. He wants in so bad he can't stand it.
Gibson is ready. He wants to make the tag, and there it is. Robert Gibson, the fresh man, sends Hayes for the ride and elevates it. Nails Jimmy Garvin, and now Robert Gibson with a sleeper. He's got the sleep on Michael Hayes, but here comes Jimmy Garvin, and fighting back is Ricky Morton. Morton thrown outside, again on his back, clotheslined by Hayes, and now Hayes and Garvin signaling perhaps for the DDT. They're double teaming Robert Gibson. Oh, straight kick to the face. Morton kicked to the face by Garvin.
Hayes has got him set for
There's
it.
Hayes in a DDT. Gibson is out of it. Hayes is strutting when he should be covering.
That could be a definite mistake.
I don't know why he's not pinning him here. Ricky Morton ramming Garvin to the post, and now Morton going up. Hayes going for another DDT. It's Morton right off the top. Morton's gonna, he's got it. Can he hold it? Yes, he can.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the match, Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson, the Rock and Roll Express.
Well, Jim, you called it, and you called it right on the button when you said that Hayes may be making a mistake not going for the pin. I think that definitely cost him the match. Watch it again.
He was going for the second DDT, Bob. And here comes Morton right off the top rope. Hayes was going to DDT Gibson for the second time, but to no avail. The Rock and Roll Express beat the Freebirds, and now let's go to Tony Schiavone with the world's strongest man.
All right, Jim Ross, Bob Cottle, thank you very much. We're very pleased here at World Championship Wrestling to bring in a man that you'll be seeing a lot of in the weeks to come, the world's strongest man, Doug Furnas. And Doug, good to have you here, and I know you've been in the back talking with Lex Luger about the situation.
Well, that's right. Thank you, Tony. Yeah, I just saw him back in the dressing room a while ago. You know, for a guy that's been in the hospital for 2 weeks, he looks pretty good. I think he's going to be ready to go.
Really a courageous man, wouldn't you say?
It's incredible. You know, the guy was in the hospital for 2 weeks, taking on the world's best, probably professional wrestling, greatest ever heavyweight champ, and that's Ric Flair. And I wouldn't be real surprised if we had a new world champion tonight.
Okay, Doug, thank you very much. And we'll be seeing a lot of Doug Furnas in the weeks to come here. World Championship Wrestling, the world's strongest man. Now, just a few moments ago, we all witnessed the Stinger. And let's bring him back out once again. Sting, we've seen the attacks from the Horsemen. I know you've been in the back with Lex Luger. This is his big moment.
Yeah, you know, Tony, the bottom line is we've all heard all the warnings from the doctors, top NWA officials, other wrestlers all warning Lex not to step into the ring with Ric Flair. And I know from experience with the Horsemen just how much it means to Lex to get back into the ring with the Horsemen and get that title from Ric Flair, the Nature Boy. The bottom line is, like I said, it's Lex's body, it's Lex's decision, and I would do the same thing if I were Lex Luger and get in the ring and take the title once and for all from the Nature Boy, so you're gonna see him do it, period.
All right, from Sting, and the stage is set, but right now, let's go back to the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is for the World Tag Team Championship. It is set for one fall. Introducing first the challenging team, Theodore R. Long presents Butch Reed, Ron Simmons, the Team of Doom.
Well, he's got his head covered up, Bob, minus a little bit of hair. And there's Hacksaw Butch Reed, former big NAIA football All-American, a JUCO All-American. And there's the man, a four-time NCAA All-American from Florida State University. This team comprises one of the most awesome duos in wrestling, and they will challenge for the richest tag team prize in our sport. I can't wait to hear the ovation from the Brothers Steiner from the Wolverine State. Let's go back to Gary Cappetta.
And ladies and gentlemen, their opponents from Detroit, Michigan. Total combined weight, 525 pounds. They are the World Tag Team Champions, Rick Steiner, Scott Steiner, the Steiner Brothers.
A couple of great All-Americans from the University of Michigan, proudly wearing their letter jackets. I'm sure fans throughout the great state of Michigan are watching this one with anticipation of a tremendous battle. This will be one of the most physical tag team events I think that you will ever see.
Both teams, very strong, very powerful. As you say physical, it's going to be physical from the word go. Jim, I don't think either one of these are going to be able to overpower the other one. I don't think the bout is going to turn on strength. It's going to have to turn on something else.
Perhaps the big break that occurs in the match.
Yep.
Or, Bob, could it be perhaps for the cause of the man with the rag or whatever the heck, scarf, I guess you should say.
Anytime that you got Theodore Long around and around the ring, you know that he could be a very important factor in it. Also, I think one of the keys to this match, too, is going to be the tempo. You know the Steiners are going to want it rather up-tempo, but the big guys over there, the big muscle guys, they're going to want to slow it down a little bit, be a little more methodical about it.
Scotty Steiner on the left, his brother Rick Steiner. Rick was a heavyweight at the University of Michigan. Scott competed at a smaller weight, but man, look, Scotty has really blossomed, man. He is.
Boy, he is really feeling like, you know, I rate him even strength-wise.
Uh-oh! Well,
there's that bald head.
It don't look bad. Don't look good.
It shines in the light, though. You need sunglasses when you look at that.
He's tried every hair growth product known to mankind. And obviously they haven't worked.
And we talk about it, when you say they're pretty even up strength-wise, and they're both big and they're strong and powerful and physical, this bout really could turn on a mistake. You know what? I think both teams have got to be very careful. They got to wrestle a smart match.
We talked about, well, the fans are getting a little irate. Man, it is jammed to the rafters here.
I'll beat up the starters. I'll beat up these stupid geeks too. But believe me, somebody's getting beat
Stupid
up
geek?
tonight.
Yeah, let me tell you, hey, I ain't going to dispute you, guy. I'm going to go right along with you. Yes, sir. Whatever you say, Butch. Now, I might argue with him, Jim. I at least outweigh him.
Most people do, Bob. As a matter of fact, well, he's going to get his head attire back on. All right, well, we're going to get this one underway. It's going to be Scott Steiner starting out against Ron Simmons. Simmons had his jersey retired at Florida State University. That shows you the kind of athlete he is. He was number 50, a great nose tackle. I saw him play against the University of Oklahoma in one of 2 consecutive Orange Bowls that he played in. And I remember Coach Barry Switzer so well saying that we have a game plan, but for our game plan to work, we have to be able to control the nose tackle. And we haven't figured out how we're going to do that yet. Oklahoma was lucky enough to win the ball game 18-17, but not because of Ron Simmons. He had a great game that night. Oh, they run together like 2 Big Mac trucks, and Simmons says, try it again. Try it again. He misses with that clothesline, but that got him down. Look at the momentum. Another big foot ball tackle by Scott Steiner. Sends him for the ride, and he elevates him. Whoa, what a power slam. Slams him out of his boots.
Well, right there, that just reinforces what we said about the strength and the power of both of them. Strength all even up. They're both so big and powerful, both teams.
Simmons, a native of Warner Robins, Georgia. A 4-year pro, 6'1½", 285, and he is all man, I'll tell you that. Reverse to the Irish whip, face first in, belly to back suplex.
Good heavens.
He planted him there.
Good. Great, Jimmy threw him into the air.
That's 285, and he manhandled him. Waist lock, belly to back suplex, and here comes Hacksaw Butch Reed. I'll tell you something, up in Miami, Oklahoma, they remember this man. He was one of the most ferocious hitters ever on that great junior college football program in Miami. The Golden Norseman. He was the first-team All-American in junior college, first-team NAI All-American at Central Missouri State. So all these 4 men through the college ranks, they've got their education. Both Steiners with degrees in education. They were going to be school teachers at one time, Bob.
I bet they could control the class, Jim. I don't think they'd have any problems handling the kids.
Reed now working on that massive arm of Scotty Steiner, and Reed, he's got some guns on him too. All 4 of these guys spend a lot of time in the gymnasium. And there you see a great shot of our fans. Steiner's shirt right there. The brothers from Michigan.
You know, Jim, I really think that Doom is ready. The Steiners, they're outstanding. They've been tremendous champions. They are great champions. But they've had a series of really rough matches coming into this. I don't know if that's going to have any effect on them tonight or not.
Straight kick to the face by Scotty Steiner. Scott Steiner has been in the duration thus far. He usually starts out in the leadoff position, and Big Brother comes in and cleans it up. Scotty was a Big Ten champion at 177 and 191. He's far from that 191 right now as we look over the shoulder of I guess we got to call him Dancing Teddy now because Sugar Ray's history.
When you talk about 199, you're looking at 191, you're looking at what, about 244-45 right now.
All muscle, too.
All muscle. Every single bit of it is muscle.
Reed and Scott Steiner again running together. Reed says we'll try it again. Nice leapfrog by Reed. And there's a drop kick around the massive chest of Reed. High elevation up to the lights goes Hacksaw Butch Reed. And a Steiner line, the first one of the night, but not the last. Well, I like to use the term high impact. And this match is the epitome of high-impact wrestling.
It is. That when you've got all 4 of them are high-impact wrestlers.
You know, a lot of wrestling fans have their opinion as who is the best power team in wrestling. I got to say that if you look past either of these 2 teams, you should he should be a little bit remiss because there is no teams in wrestling that possess more power than either of Doom or the Steiner.
I got to say I'm a little bit surprised too, because as earlier I said I rate them even up strength-wise. Jim, it appears to me right now what has happened so far, the Steiners have been on top of Doom. They've been a little more physical and seem to be a little more powerful right now.
The dog face is in there now. Invited me to go fishing with him. He said, I'll come by and pick you up in my pickup truck and we'll go fishing one of these days.
That son of a gun, he probably just reaches over and grabs the fish and yanks it right out of the water.
And if he gets hungry, he just eats the bait.
Yeah, that's right.
Sushi, I think they call it. Great right hand by Hacksaw Butch Reed. Oh, he snaps his head back with those rights, those big soup bones, laying into Rick Steiner. Sends him for the ride. He missed with that clothesline. Oh, man, that Steiner line, but Reed blocked it somewhat.
Yes, sir.
He did not get all of it. Reed turned his shoulders, and out goes the dog face.
That's something you very seldom see happen. That Steiner gets that move blocked, Jim.
Very few men have the strength to sustain and block the thing. Reed turned away and positioned himself just out of that. Got a glancing blow.
That might be the Teddy Long factor. Teddy Long may have him scouted right to that degree.
Steiner line again. We got those feet wide, a base wide, block the hip lock. Whoop. Teddy Long out there in the way. He almost made a sandwich out of him. Both men trying for a slam, and Rick Steiner with an advantage there, slamming Reed on the mats out there, right on the floor. Ron Simmons over to help his partner. Referee Randy Anderson telling Simmons to get back into his corner, and Scotty Steiner takes advantage. The massive chest of Hacksaw Butch Reed met the steel.
Boy, the Steiners show you they've learned a lot about tag team wrestling, Jim. They've taken it on the nose a lot of times. Now they know how to dish it out as well as receive it.
Here comes the man that was the defensive MVP of the Hula Bowl. The All-American game played in Honolulu right after his senior year. The dog face down in that amateur wrestling position.
He's like the pit bull when he gets down on all fours. Man, he'll tear your head off, too.
He owns about 6 or 8 dogs. He's really an animal lover. Real likable guy is Rick Steiner. And Ron Simmons just the converse of that. Oh, he blocked it. Here comes this pile driver. A pile driver. And
Simmons gets up from it.
Steiner line. He nailed him with a Steiner line, Bob. And he drove 285 pounds right outside.
Boy, the champions are really impressive in the opening minutes of this match. They are really taking it to Doom. And I tell you, Theodore Long, he's got to be disturbed right now.
You know, many say that the greatest brother duo to hold the World Tag Team Championship were Gene and Ole Anderson. But I think that we have to really categorize the Steiners right up there with the Andersons as far as great brother combinations ever to compete in the sport of professional wrestling.
Boy, they have been on top of it. When you say you're ready for a match and you're ready to wrestle one against great competition, the Steiners came in extremely well prepared. I'm also surprised by that.
Reed very cautious not to get sucked in by Scott Steiner, who has a great ability to reverse his opponent in that corner. Collar and elbow tight, both men just awesomely strong. See what Reed does. There'll be no clean break, you can count on it. He missed with a soup bone right. Here comes the Irish whip with a lot of velocity. High hip lock taking him out and over. Boy, he's got him up right on his shoulder. Now, Reed is a massive man as well, 280.
Boy, you see the way he handled that 280 pounds?
Drove him, and he's holding him there. Great strength. There's a shoulder block. Count of 2 from the shoulder breaker. Reverse chin lock and that big, giant arm of Scotty Steiner around the neck of Hacksaw Butch Reed. Reed, the native of Warrensburg, Missouri. The 10-year pro, the most experienced man in this match, being punished, and now older brother Rick Steiner legally tagged back in. And these guys are all chiseled.
Oh, and they're staying right on top of Doom, too. They're not giving them breathing room. When they get into the ring, look at Rick. He goes right in, puts him in the... Oh, trouble now.
The veteran Hacksaw Reed, that's a veteran move right there. And Simmons will take advantage. A street fighter.
Rolled him right into the referee.
He got a couple of well-placed kicks there. He sure did, Bob. Rolled him right in there. And Reed perhaps setting himself somewhat early. And Rick tagging in Scott Steiner. High knee there by Hacksaw Butch Reed. Right to the chest of Scott Steiner. I tell you what, that'll take the wind away from him.
Boy, I tell you, you have got to be impressed. You got to be amazed at the powerful blows that these guys can take. I tell you, Jim, these are Sunday punches that they're receiving in there.
Scotty Steiner up and over the top rope. Referee didn't see it, unfortunately. Ramming his head into those wooden stairs is Ron Simmons, and now face first into the security railing and tossed him back in.
Is that your champion, old man? Perhaps you would like to try.
Well, Reed reaches down. He was ready for him, and Simmons, he just sort of manhandled Scott.
Big clothesline by Hacksaw Butch Reed, and tagging in Ron Simmons. Here comes Burt Reynolds' favorite wrestler, Ron Simmons from Florida State. Double elbows. Lateral press. He won't get him here, I don't think.
No, I don't think so either.
Now he's going to choke him.
He might get him with that.
He also might get himself disqualified, which would leave the belts with the Steiners. They've got to stay within the realm of the rules, and they have any chance of winning the championship here. Right to the face, the big foot of Scotty Steiner. And now Ron Simmons very wisely will make a tag. And Reed going up to the top rope. Reed is the legal man in the ring, and as Scotty Steiner tried to make the tag, he was nailed from behind by Reed.
Theodore Long has got to be concerned. The Steiners are wrestling a smarter match to this point.
Lateral press after the neck breaker. Again, Scott Steiner, that great upper body strength, kicks out. You're going to really have to bundle him up in those pinning predicaments and neutralize the legs. And Reed, those short right hands, right to the jaw. Knee to the side of the head. Scott Steiner now all the way down to the floor.
Well, the tide of battle, it'll shift one way and then to the other, and when you get out of the ring, you just know that you're going to get pounded. Somebody's going to be right on top of you.
The man that finished 8th in the Heisman Trophy balloting his senior year, Ron Simmons, tossing Scotty Steiner back into the ring. Reed there, blatant chokehold. There you see that big hand choking Scott Steiner, man. They know that the referee's count is on. They know that just exactly when to let go.
They're not trying to hide that, Jim. What they're trying to do, he's blocking it. Good move, he's blocked it.
Nice suplex by Scott Steiner. Great counter wrestling. I think the guys like a Mike Rotunda, like the Steiners, that come from great amateur programs, are great counter wrestlers. And Ron Simmons back in, drives a knee into Scott Steiner, and just drove him all the way outside again.
He went flying through the ropes, hard off of the apron, hard down onto the floor.
Butch Reed now.
Here's Theodore.
Teddy Long. Well, that's not going to put him away, but it certainly is frustrating. Adds more insult to the injury. Put on the rope.
On the rope, yes, sir. He's going to have to break it at that.
Simmons going to snap it back right there. You see it. And that steel cable inside that rubber encasing there doesn't give very much. Uh-oh. Going in. Deep single leg. Got him up and took him over. And a modified fireman carry maneuver from the single leg.
Jim, I talked to Doom. I'm convinced they had no idea that the Steiners were going to be able to be as physical with them and to physically handle them like they've been doing.
Another clothesline. A lot of them in this match. Can he hold him down? 1, 2, that's all. And Scott Steiner, big gut check here for the former All-American from Michigan. Steiner's originally from Bay City, Michigan, now residing in Detroit.
Well, he was headed in the right direction for the tag. He was just a little slow getting there.
I guess they are the World Championship Wrestling version of the Bad Boys from Detroit. The wrestling version of the Bad Boys.
Well, like all good tag teams and all good professional wrestlers, if you get an opponent hurt, stay on him.
Bulldog headlock by Hacksaw Butch Reed. And Reed now another lateral press and another 2 count. Doom going for the pin. You got to hand it to Doom. When they weaken their opponent, they go right for the pin.
Sir, son of a gun again. I said we're only within just a count of having a new champion.
Vicious knee drop right to the solar plexus area. Hacksaw Butch Reed now. Will he try his version of the pile driver? He's got Scotty Steiner up, and he stuffed him. Reed now tagging in the fresh man. Can Ron Simmons finish off Scott Steiner after that pile driver?
Jimmy did the smart thing. He was going to cut him off. He wasn't going to let him go get a tag.
Wow, what a football tackle. Simmons, verbal intimidation. Tipped in on Scott Steiner. But Scott Steiner made a great adjustment there in midair, waist-locking Simmons and taking him down. Simmons may be hurt here.
I think Simmons was talking when he should have been acting a moment ago. He had Scott Steiner down. He had him in trouble. He let him out. Jim, as we said, as the match goes on and it gets longer and longer, as they get more tired in that ring, again, I think it's going to turn on a mistake. Somebody's going to make a mistake, and it'll be a fatal one.
Scott Steiner trying to counter wrestle Ron Simmons. Perhaps he should make the tag. In any event, he sends him for the ride. There's a Frankie Steiner! There is a Frankie Steiner, and it's brought them out of their seats in Washington, D.C. tonight.
Simmons trying to reach over for the tag, crawling over to the corner.
Unfortunately for Scott Steiner, he's at a weakened state, but here comes Reed and the dog face with big right hands, and they're barking in D.C., and there's the Steiner line. Ricky Steiner sends him for the ride. A power slam. Lateral press, and Simmons interrupted the count. Scott Steiner drives Simmons out of the ring. Get chaotic here, double suplex. The Steiners are going to try to finish him off. Right here, a lateral press against Simmons in. Referee very close to lose control of this one. Scott Steiner thrown outside. There's a clothesline right off the second turnbuckle. Lateral press by Reed. And Rick Steiner back. This was turned into a brawl now.
And there's been several saves already. All four in the ring as they mix it up.
Scott Steiner drives Simmons outside with a vicious tackle all the way to the concrete. Rick Steiner back in the ring with Reed. Those big right hands.
Two fight outside and two inside.
Oh, Scott Steiner's shoulder ran right into the steel ring post. Simmons back in, double axe handle blow. Longest. Wait a minute. They double team Rick Steiner from the second rope. Can they hold him down?
He did.
No. Long inverted the referee. Doom has won the world titles.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winners and new World Tag Team Champions, Ron Simmons, Butch Reed, the team of Doom.
All right, fans, and what a wild finish it was. And there you're looking at the new World Tag Team Champions, Theodore R. Long and his team of Doom, as they double-teamed the Steiners. What a wild finish it was. And that match was every bit that we thought it was going to be, just as physical as any match could possibly be. Again, let's go back and watch the slow motion of that. Here you see Rick Steiner double-teamed as Theodore Long got up onto the apron of the ring, engaged the referee, pulling Rick Steiner down by the hair, covering him for the press. The count of 1, 2, 3, and you've got new World Tag Team Champions. Now here's Jim Ross.
Well, thanks very much, Bob Caudle. New World Tag Team Champions have been crowned, and we've already seen the switching of the guard on 2 occasions. The Midnight Express, the new U.S. Tag Champions, and Tony Schiavone is standing by with the new Tag Team Champions of the world. Let's go to Tony.
All right, Jim Ross, here they are. And Theodore, I guess you got to be happy. We saw what happened, everything up there, and you have new World Tag Team Champions.
Let me say something to you right now, Tony Schiavone. I told you, I told the world, I told the NWA, and my prediction is true. You're looking at your new World Tag Team Champion. So, I lost a little hair, but I gained the world, baby. Show them the belt. Show it to them.
Well, there they are, the Tag Team Champions of the world.
Told everybody, you thought we were just a couple of fly-by-nighters. Well, we're real professional athletes. And let me tell you something, people. I've told you, and I've told you time again, Doom is world championship material. And one more thing, Doom rules, baby. Doom rules. Let it belong. From now on, Doom will be the World Tag Team Champion. And with a good, clean fight, we didn't break no rule, just like we promised it would be. And we took it like a man. You understand? We told them folks we were going to take it, and they're home. How sweet it is. Tony Schiavone, there's going to be a big celebration tonight. You're invited to the party. Somebody better go get Jim Hart. Tell him to come to the party, because we done it. Jump, baby. Woo!
All right, new World Tag Team Champions Doom. Let's go back to more action.
This is for the World Heavyweight Championship. Introducing first the challenger from Chicago, Illinois, weighing 271 pounds. He is the United States Heavyweight Champion, the Total Package, Lex Luger.
Bobby's got to be considered one of the most courageous athletes ever to step in the squared circle. Got out of the hospital this morning. He should not be competing here in the eyes of his own physician, but he said he could not let the fans down. This was his night. This is his destiny to be the world's heavyweight champion. But what a challenge he has. He's courageous, but can he be the man? To be that man, you have to beat the legend. Here's his introduction.
And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent, accompanied to the ring by woman from Charlotte, North Carolina, weighing 242 pounds. And for the sixth time, he is the World Heavyweight Champion, Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Indeed, a legend. Nature Boy Ric Flair. 6 times he has held the most coveted championship in our sport, the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion.
The wrestler of the decade of the 80s. And it may be in his future to be declared the greatest champion of all time.
It will be hard to dispute that, Bob. I know great champions like Lou Thez in Virginia watching this event, and other great champions in our long, illustrious history. And the pageantry of Capital Combat 90, the return of RoboCop. As they lower the giant cage, it will prevent any outside interference. The Horsemen, I know, were very upset when the stipulation was added to this contest to make it a cage match. I think that's why Ole Anderson was examining the cage as he was earlier today, as I mentioned, about noon today.
I think Ole was probably looking for any weak spots, any weak links. If he figured if he could find one that they may be able to get into the cage, and they may be able to do something, at least to turn the tide of battle away from Lex Luger. Jim, you talk about the courage, and there's no doubt. I don't think there's any way to measure the heart and the courage of Lex Luger. That he's here, that he's taking on this match. I don't know whether it's wise on his part or not, though, because that knee of his, well, it could be, as we said earlier, career-ending.
Bob, where our cameras are right inside the ring, we're going to take you inside the ring and try to pick up the referee's instructions here. Referee Mike Atkins has been assigned this contest. Let's listen and see if we can pick up the instructions Boy, this is drama. This is what we came to see.
You can feel the tension in the crowd. You can cut it with a knife right now.
There you see the look of the champion.
Show it to him, baby, or not, huh?
And that's what they're wrestling for right there. That's the prize that every athlete in our sport aspires to be, the world's heavyweight wrestling champion.
The man that it belongs to. The pride that that man has, Jim, he just refuses to be beaten.
Referee is going to check both athletes. This match so important. Lex Luger has tried on other occasions and has come so close to being the world's heavyweight champion. Many people say with the right break in certain matches he would be that man at this point in time.
Well, you know, Luger says he has chased that championship now for 2 years, Jim.
What do you want to check, huh?
Well, the referee wants to check Flair.
Don't worry about her for a second.
Oh, wait a minute, he wanted to check
Don't worry
her.
about her for a second, pal.
Well, Mike Atkins is not real, I'm sure, somewhat dubious the fact that woman
Get him out of the ring. Get him out of the ring.
woman is inside that cage.
She's fine. She's fine. She's fine. She's in here. I said check her.
You hear that? The Luger said she's in here. He wants her checked. That's not a bad job. A lot of guys have volunteered for that.
I think you get a lot of volunteers for it.
Flair is really adamant that the referee is even inferring that he would like to check woman.
She's fine.
I don't know where she'd hide anything, to be
No, I
honest.
don't
about it.
either.
What?
Uh-oh. What's he found?
Wait a minute, what is that?
What's he got? What's that? Well, the proverbial international object has just, look at that. How can you believe that?
You know, no way.
Good officiating. Good officiating by Mike Atkins. They wanted, that was just for insurance, I would say.
It was a wise move on Lex Luger's part to insist on it too, Jim. All right, the bell. You know, you got to say and you got to think now that Luger's got to be in a somewhat weakened condition. He needs to end it in a hurry if he can.
Luger in the hospital almost 2 weeks. Severe knee injury. Staph infection set in. Big chop by Flair.
Look at Luger. Now, that's one thing I think. Luger has got to control his temper. If his temper gets out of control, he's going to be in trouble, Jim.
Flair just left the ring there. That's going to... Flair is not only one of the greatest athletes I've ever seen in any sport, he's also the supreme strategist inside the squared circle. And his experience may be the deciding factor in this. On national TV, I have predicted Flair to win this match. I was in the minority. And Luger with a big football block right on top, street style. Right hands to the nature boy. 6'5", 275.
Well, I think Luger wants to match up Flair strength for strength.
Clothesline. Luger gingerly getting down, and Flair almost. It was almost over. That quick, it was almost history.
Well, and we said that Luger, to win, we thought he had to do it in a hurry. I didn't think he could do it that quickly, though, but he almost pulled it off. And there's no way that Flair's going to match strength with him. Flair's too smart for that, Jim. He's not going to do it.
Luger's got one injured wheel. Trying to get Flair up. He's got him up in a vertical suplex. Held him there, and he executed it. One of Luger's great attributes, in addition to his uncanny strength, is his great quickness for a man 6'5", 275. He was an all-stater in 3 sports in high school. Turned down an appointment to the Naval Academy to go to Penn State University for a time. Also played for Miami of Florida. Graduated from Buffalo University with a 3.78 grade average. So he is indeed a thinking man's wrestler.
Right. He's got a lot upstairs.
He's got a lot in his heart too, Bob.
So he is really proving that.
I tell you, the fans don't know what this guy has gone through to be here. I know of at least 3, maybe 4 days. His fever was 103 just in recent days. And he's got him with the strength. I didn't know if he could do it. But he got Flair up in that military press. The adrenaline's got to be rushing through the body of the total package.
I didn't think he could do that with that leg either, Jim. I thought that leg might buckle under him if he got him up like that.
Up again. He's trying it again. He's testing that knee. And thus far in the early going, it's holding up for him. Ric Flair started out auspiciously in 1975 as the unanimous Rookie of the Year in this sport. And no one dominated a decade like Flair dominated the 80s. And who's to say he won't do it in the 90s?
Most dangerous when he's wounded. You never can count the man out. He gets wounded, he gets hurt, and it's like something in his brain just starts clicking, Jim. And from out of nowhere, he comes up with a move or something that'll turn it entirely around.
Flair has been the undisputed champion of the world since May 7th, 1989. And there's a thumb to the eye. He has said on many occasions that he is indeed the dirtiest player in the game. Big chop. You can hear him.
Nobody chops any harder than Flair.
But that's like chopping a cement pillar.
Boy, you talk about the adrenaline. Luger's got it flowing now.
Hip lock by Luger, follows with a clothesline. High impact moves. He is a power wrestler personified. But how long will his stamina last after his extended hospital stay? And Flair, all through that chest. Dancing pecs.
Flair's looking, maybe there's safety in the top of the cage. I think he can't go over it. He can't get out of it. There's no way you can go over that thing.
It's got to be 30, 40 feet high.
No way. And that's a ploy. You know what he's doing? Looking for time again.
Big chop there by the Nature Boy. Luger rammed into the cage. The steel surrounds the ring. The Horsemen were very unobligatory to the media today. Did not want to speak with the media.
Yeah. You know, I've been trying to, we know what kind of condition, or at least we thought we knew what kind of condition Lex Luger was in. I think he's surprising us to a great deal on that. I tried to find out about Flair. You know, he's been training in secret, Jim. I really couldn't find out what he's been doing to prepare himself for this match.
You can count it's been intensified because he is as finely conditioned athlete as there is. And now Flair going right to work on the knee. Viciously kicking the knee. We know Flair's favorite offensive weapon is the figure 4 leg lock. Big chop there on Luger's massive chest.
Well, you'd think that it's cruel, Jim, to go to that knee. But I tell you, in any sport and in any battle, if a fighter gets his opponent cut, what's he going to do? He's going to work on that cut. He's going to go for it. That's what Flair's going to do with that leg.
You're right, Bob. Luger, on the surface, seems to have no physical weakness and normally does not. Right. On this occasion, as you see, he's gingerly getting up, really favoring that knee already. This guy has got more guts than anybody I know. He would not let the fans down. Standing vertical suplex, and Luger up quickly. Flair thinks he's got him down the canvas, and Luger meets Flair up with a clothesline. And the champion of the world, a little bewildered here.
He can't believe it. He can't believe that Luger got up after that.
Luger on top of Flair, big right hands. A succession of rights. Flair upside down.
Over.
Right off down the apron, though he goes. And Luger catches him with a clothesline right to the chest. Flair slides out of the ring. He's going to break old Mo one more time. And Flair again climbs. Or he's seemingly trying to climb to the top of the cage.
There's nowhere to go. You can't get out of it. Well, and this is why Luger wanted the cage match, Jim.
face first into that steel. Again, trying to get away from Lex Luger, it would seem. What a now Luger, this is a bad move. But the thing about it, Bob, is he's got to pin Flair or make him submit to beat him.
Yeah.
They're up on that cage. Flair's trying to ram Luger, but Luger rams Flair face first in that cage. Flair can't even put his hands up to break the momentum.
You can't get a 3 count up there, though, Jim.
But man, Bob, you can inflict some pain and some punishment, and that's what the challenger is doing.
I think Flair may be cut.
Flair face first on many times there, right into the steel. Oh man, face first into the post. Flair face first into the post.
Luger coming on so strong. Jim, he doesn't appear to be weakened at all. As you said, the adrenaline has got to be flowing, and he goes right back to it on Flair. We said a while ago that Flair would do it to the knee. Luger's doing it to the face.
Flair has been busted open. His face ran to that steel ring post, and the Nature Boy really getting punished here by Lex Luger. And Luger, the courageous challenger, has this one going his way, and Flair is in bad trouble.
We may be on the verge right now of a new World Heavyweight Champion. It seems to be right in the grasp of Lex Luger at the moment. I think Luger can sense it and feel it and smell it right now.
He has been so close on so many occasions. Will this be the night that he realizes his dream to be the champion of the world? Flair with an inverted atomic drop, but it didn't work. Luger with a clothesline, and that did work. Flair
He's got him hooked.
He's under the ropes, Bob. It's not...
Son of a gun.
The Nature Boy is in a tremendous amount of pain. Again, Flair.
He's gone to that cage again. Why does he keep going to the cage, Jim?
He wants to get away from Lex Luger, Bob. Luger has already busted him, and he's right in the same place he was. And Luger just smacking his head there like a tennis ball. Bang! Bang, right off the cage.
Every time he gets on the cage, he gets even punished more by Luger.
But if he stays in the ring and Luger gets that momentum, Bob, he's going to pin him.
I think Flair is searching. He's really searching now for anything in any way to maintain that title to keep from losing this match.
Flair trying to ram Luger's face into the cage, but Luger blocked it and reversed it. Oh, what an awesome athlete. What an awesome athlete. The United States heavyweight champion.
Good hell.
Attempting to become the first man in almost 30 years to hold both U.S. and world titles simultaneously. Flair is like hitting a wall.
It did not work. He thought he was going to take Luger right to the mat. It was like running into a tree. Luger just stood there.
They're saying they got Lex. He's got his legion of fans here in the jam-packed D.C. Armory in Washington, D.C. Luger trying to get Flair up there. You can see Luger he would have normally just snapped him right up there. And now is he going to go for the superplex? The superplex by Lex may put Flair down. The fans are anticipating this one.
This could be it. He's waited.
Here he comes. Oh,
wait a minute. He's grabbing that knee.
Oh, man, the impact of that. It's got to send shockwaves right through that injured knee of Lex Luger. And Luger is writhing in pain. This gallant competitor.
I don't know whether he can get up and stand on that leg and that knee again.
Man. Well, this kid he's putting his career on the line.
And Jim, the championship was right there. He had it in his hand.
Luger's knee gave way. We thought it might be a matter of time. We didn't want to be pessimistic or cynical about the situation. And now Flair will be relentless.
You better believe Flair's going to go for it. That's what he's going to stay on. He probably won't try anything else but to work on that knee.
Flair stomping away at it viciously.
We just can't imagine the pain that Luger must be under right now.
that guy's got to be so weak right now.
Yep.
Almost 14 days in the hospital. Several days at 103 fever from the infection that set in the knee. He has really battered Flair, as anybody can see. And now Flair laying that leg over the bottom rope and comes down on it.
All of his weight right down on that knee, Jim. The pain, I don't see how Luger can stand it. He may be in danger of passing out from the pain.
Flair, look at this. He is so sadistic, right across the leg and the shin of Lex Luger. Flair says, now we go to school. Now we get him the figure four. And now I snap his leg.
And that will be the end of Lex Luger. I'll never see him in the ring again.
And Luger probably should have listened to the doctors. Probably should have listened to the doctors.
Looks that way now.
He didn't want to miss this opportunity. Belly to back suplex by the Nature Boy. And Luger holding that leg. Man. This big Adonis. I tell you something. You've got to respect Lex Luger fans even more so than ever before for even being here and even being in this match against the greatest in the game today, Ric Flair. And there's Flair. Figure four, and here it comes. He's got it locked in. And now I have to think it's just a matter of time. Flair using the rope for leverage. Luger's going to try to turn him over. That's the only known escape or reversal or counter for the figure four. Two and a half. The pain has got to be so intense, Luger may not even sense the count. As Flair grabs the top rope for more leverage. We may be seeing the end of a great wrestling career. As a battered Ric Flair, showing indeed he is the dirtiest player in the game, and that is a classic figure four.
Very definitely, he is trying to put Luger out and put him out for good. He's going to have to break it. He got caught holding that rope.
I'll tell you something, he's going to have to break the leg for Luger to give it up, and I don't think then he'd say, I quit.
No, Luger, Jim, we talk about how courageous he is. There's no way he's not even thinking about quitting.
Well, Bob, here come the Horsemen.
What the heck are they doing going down there?
Ole and Arn Anderson and Big Sid Vicious. Where the heck's Barry Windham?
I don't know. They must be going down to witness the end of Luger or something here. But look at Luger.
Look at that adrenaline rush. With that adrenaline rush, a succession of clotheslines. The Horsemen are surrounding the ring.
Everybody but Windham. I still haven't seen Windham.
They're Ole Anderson attempting to climb the cage. Unless they know something we don't, Bob. This cage, they're not going to get in this cage.
It looks like Arn's trying the same thing. He's not going to get in. Well, we said earlier, Ole was down there examining the cage. He was looking all around.
Luger now with big right hands. They know it's going to be tough. Look at Ole. He senses that his man, Ric Flair, may be experiencing his last moments as world champion. 1, 2, and
oh, my heavens.
It was 2 3/4.
Almost a new champion. The hand had already started down, and it would have all been over at that point.
Ole Anderson looking around. Flair is in deep trouble. Battered and bloody. Luger's got enough. The military pressing again. And the world's champion is in deep trouble. Here comes Sting. Here comes Sting. Grabbing Ole Anderson.
Grabbing Ole to pull him down.
Sting trying to fight him away from the cage. Sting fighting for his friend, Lex Luger, who's on the verge of becoming the new world's champion. And wait just a minute.
Triple team there now.
Look what's coming down the aisle.
What in the world is that?
7-7, 450, El Gigante. El Gigante. My God, what a man.
Jim, I heard you talk about him. It's unbelievable.
The Horsemen want no part of Sting. And the biggest man I've ever seen. 7-7, 450. And Lex Luger is on the verge of becoming the new world's champion.
I've never seen anybody as big as that man, Jim. Huge, and he must be just as strong. And the Horseman just took one look and said, I can't take that.
Flair in trouble. Wait a minute. Ole Anderson somehow's got the cage up. Anderson's got the cage. The guy that's got the cage, Ole Anderson Anderson has got the switch on the cage.
And that was Wyndham who went sliding and flying under it. Here's Wyndham in the ring.
Wyndham. Luger had Flair beat in the rack. Wyndham in the cage. There'll be a disqualification in this one. But Luger's got to fight for his life. Patch me through. Somebody patch me through to the cage guy. I don't think you can hear me or not. Get the damn cage down.
Yeah, here comes Arn under it now. Somebody's got to get in there to help him.
And Ole Anderson has commandeered the guy that's controlling the cage. Ole Anderson goes over here, controlling the guy that's got the cage.
And Luger's being wiped out. There's nobody down there to give him any help or any assistance.
Referee thrown all the way outside. There's been a disqualification. Ole Anderson has commandeered the cage. We knew something was up when he was looking around. Earlier today, Lex Luger's career could be over any moment. Flair working on the leg. A vicious attack. Three of the Horsemen.
Somebody
3 on 1.
We got to get some help down there.
There's got to be some help. Get the cage up.
Somebody's got to save this guy.
Patch me through him. Get security. Help. Get the damn cage. They're gonna beat him to death. There's a DDT. Oh my God. They've looked. I cannot believe Ole Anderson. Sting wants him to please get the cops, get the police over there and get Ole Anderson away from the switch.
Now it's down and he can't get in. Sting can't get in there. Ole is actually controlling it up and down when he wants it.
The security on their way over to where Ole Anderson is.
There it goes up. Now it's going up.
Get the cage up. Here comes Sting in the ring.
It may be too late now, Jim.
Luger trying to stand. Luger almost out of it. Oh, my God. I cannot believe Ole Anderson's pulled this off. There'll be an investigation on this. I'm sure Woman and Ole Anderson had this plan. Ole Anderson commandeered the area that the guy was controlling the cage was in. What, is Tony Schiavone down there? Tony Schiavone, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Jim Ross. And here we are. He is still the world.
What is it? Look at it! You keep them on shut. This is it right here. Arn it! Come here! Come here, Arn! We're the Horsemen! Look at us! Look at this, everybody! You see this? We're the Horsemen! We did it!
Well, I guess you made your point, and you still are the champion.
Woo! Ah!
We have no idea how the cage went up. We have no idea what in the world happened, but apparently
You want to know? How
how in the world did the cage...
Money! This is the world title! There's only one! And it is mine!
Yeah, it's yours, but still, I'm sure...
Wait a minute, there's Sting. Sting and Flair cooking now. Sting doesn't care. He's gone right into the Lion's Den. Sting has gone right into the Lion's Den. He doesn't care.
There's the big one, the big El Gigante again.
Sting wants Flair in the worst way, but how hurt is Luger? El Gigante, the biggest man in wrestling, and Sting, the Horseman, want no part of that. Flair will retain the heavyweight championship of the world. So long, everybody, from Washington, D.C.